right, ladies and gentlemen, it is late. It is 4th of July, Saturday night time, and it is time for the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race. After an over 4.5 hour rain delay, we are set to go in action here this evening in the return to Chicagoland Speedway for the first time since 2019 in the series. As we get closer to the drop of the green flag for the start of today's race, let's quickly go through the starting lineup as cars have just entered the racetrack and are on their pace laps before the beginning of tonight's affair. In the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race this evening, we will have 200 laps, 300 miles for today's race. Connor Zilisch will be on the pole after finishing runner-up at Sonoma a week ago. He's a two-time winner in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series this season and just coming off his first career top 10 in the Cup Series a week ago. Brett Kerr's a series rookie looking for his first career win still at the age of 18 and looking to try to make the chase. He's the last driver in on points entering tonight's action. In row number two Chevrolets will be Carson Kvapil in the number 9 for JRM and Corey Day in the 17. In row number 3 will be Parker Retzlaff, who still sits top 10 in points this season, and Jesse Love, who comes in second in the standings. Row 4, the Viking Motorsports Chevrolet, as well as Anthony Alfredo and Sheldon Creed. In row 5, Sam Mayer with Sammy Smith. And then Chase Elliott, a Cup regular in the field tonight, one of the favorites for Junior Motorsports in the 88. Myatt Snyder in the 91 will be in row 6. Row 7 for William Sawalich and Ryan Sieg. Nick Sanchez in the 87 again this weekend. Austin Hill, of course, back as a full-time Cup Series regular, and another double Cup Series regular for the rest of the season, and obviously double duty again this weekend in Chicago. So again, Sanchez and Hill, row 8. Row 9 will be the series points leader Justin Allgaier alongside Harrison Burton, Josh Bilicki with Jeremy Clements in row 10. Row 11 for another Cup regular Cole Custer and Jeb Burton. And row number 12 is going to be Garrett Smithley and Brennan Poole. Taylor Gray just inside the chase cut line alongside Dean Thompson in row number 13. In row 14 will be rookie Patrick Staropoli and Ryan Ellis with Brandon Jones, Blaine Perkins bringing up the rear of the field in row 15. Row 16 will be Leland Honeyman and Raja Caruth in the 32 for Jordan Anderson Racing. Behind them in row 17, Kyle Sieg and LeVar Scott. Tyler Tomasi making his first start in the series this season alongside Dawson Cram in row 18. And row 19, rounding out the field, Joey Gase and J.J. Yaley pulling double duty this weekend, running both the O'Reilly and Cup Series races. That is our starting lineup for today's race. Again, 300 miles, 200 laps around this mile-and-a-half Chicagoland Speedway. Under the lights now, where a race that was supposed to be pretty much in the later afternoon, evening hours, now fully in the dark, completely different track conditions. All the rubber that was on the racetrack from Cup Series qualifying earlier today, as well as O'Reilly Series practice earlier today, has been rubbed off. So it will be very fast and a little bit more grip than these teams were initially expecting entering tonight. They have just added another pace lap as there's still some safety equipment out on the racetrack. So another caution lap here before we get racing. I'll let you listen into a little bit of the pre-race coverage on the CW before the drop of the green flag.
So here's my plan. Manage to tell your team and let everyone else know exactly what you want to do. They're going to see it in real time if you're doing that. So I don't know why you'd have to tell them, but we also had 5 hours. You could have told them. I've been for a while. So I'm not sure about that one. I wouldn't put that out there. I just sort of let them realize in real time exactly what I'm running. They're watching. Yeah, and the reality is you're going to just learn as you go. Yeah. Get out there and the balance of your cards are right. He can have a plan, but that plan will change based on how his car feels and where everybody around him is running on the track.
We're above the action with GovX aerial coverage. GovX savings for those who serve. Talking about lane selection, where you're going to run. And Connor Zilisch gets the choice at the beginning, being the guy that comes from the pole, the control car, and he takes the side lane. See the fireworks in the distance. July 4th weekend.
Great shot.
Chicagoland Speedway. Supposed to go green with the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series at 4:40 local time. Rain said no thank you. We're 4.5 hours behind schedule, but I have a feeling it's going to be worth the wait. Fireworks in the sky, and now we've got fireworks on the track. Happy birthday, USA. Front row, good friends, couple of teenagers racing here for the first time. Connor Zilich, Brent.
All right, here we go. Connor Zilich on the pole for this one this evening, and he will lead the field of the green. And we are underway at Chicagoland and its return to the NASCAR schedule in 2026. Drag race down towards turn one as we get things started tonight. Brent Cruz on the inside of the front row with Connor Zilich, the pole sitter, taking the outside lane, and Zilich will be clear for the lead up out of turn two. Working down the back straightaway, mostly single file inside the top 10. There's a couple battles for position side by side into turn three on the entry, one of which for the third spot between Corey Day and Jesse Love. With Corey Day winning the battle for third initially, Love now having to fend off for fourth place with Carson Kvapil in the 9. Connor Zilich leads the opening lap of the race by about 0.6 of a second over Brent Cruz and 1 second ahead of Corey Day in third. Jesse Love right behind them at 1.2 seconds back. And obviously Zilich on the opening lap setting the fastest lap of the race, earning that bonus point at least for the early lap. Second lap into turn three, a couple rows of three wide now as things still bunched together in the middle of the pack. Between positions 15 through 25. Another fastest lap of the race by Zilich on lap 2 at 31.073. As the temperature drops throughout the night, we may see the track get quicker and quicker as it gets rubbered in, with the green racetrack in the beginning also going to see quite a bit of speed early on. This is a very worn out surface. There's going to be a lot of high tire fall off situations throughout both races this weekend. Tire management going to be key over the course of long green flag runs if we see those in both races. Already getting another spot back. Carson Kvapil making a pass on Corey Day for third place. Actually, that would be Chase Elliott in a battle for fifth. Had the wrong Junior Motorsports Chevy he was battling with. Jesse Love, Corey Day side by side for third as they cross the start-finish line with Love on the inside of Day. Chase Elliott moving forward quickly. He's the car on the inside of the 9 of Kvapil for fifth. Chevy's battling up towards the front of the field in a series that is mostly filled with Chevys. But Chase Elliott started in the 11th place position. He's already up to 5th in just the first 5 to 6 laps of the race. So a fast start for the driver of the 88. Being a Cup regular, he has seen laps at this racetrack. A lot of drivers in this O'Reilly Auto Parts Series field have never raced in general. We know how this series is very, very young, especially drivers in good equipment up at the front of the field. Your Connor Zilich's, Brent Cruz, Jesse Love, Corey Day, they have never seen this racetrack up until practice earlier today. Qualifying was supposed to take place today, practice yesterday. With practice getting rained out initially yesterday, the drivers and teams wanted the 50-minute practice session rather than a qualifying session. So qualifying ultimately had got postponed for the series with the rainstorm from yesterday that went through. And as far as today, they got their full 50 minutes of practice. And the metric had set up the starting lineup, which is why you see Connor Zilich on the pole after finishing runner-up in the one car a week ago. Last place finish with owner's points being the metric there. And that one car has been doing pretty good in the owner's standings as well. Zilich does have a couple wins in that car this season. It set the pace early already, a 2-second lead over series rookie Brent Cruz, 2.1 seconds ahead of Jesse Love in third. Corey Day is 3 seconds out of the lead in fourth, and Chase Elliott still in fifth at 4.6 seconds back. As the top 5 in the positions between them, showing a replay on track, a battle between Jeb Burton and Taylor Gray, and they made a little bit of contact on the front stretch. One zigged, the other zagged as they were trying to get close to one another, side by side, try to side draft, and gotta be careful of that. Don't want to bang the fenders in too much, cause a tire rub, and have to come down pit road for an unscheduled stop. Right now, Gray up 7 spots from 25th place starting spot to now 18th. And Jeb Burton only picking up 1 spot from the start of the race. He is currently in 21st. Brandon Jones had to start very end of the field. He is good on these intermediate racetracks, especially the low grip. He's got a couple of career wins at Darlington. Look for him to be fast here tonight. Brandon Jones is up 7 spots already from the start of the race, as well as he had to We get things deep in the pack after a rough run at Sonoma a week ago. Actually got a spin in that race. Not a good outing for him. Still sits top 10 in points pretty comfortably, though, as far as trying to be the top 12 in the Chase standings. And we'll take a look at those point standings here while we're in the early going of the race and what things are looking like for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. After tonight's race ends, they will only have 7 races to go until the chase begins. 26 race regular season. Remember, they've had 2 less off weeks than the Cup Series have had so far this season, so they're moving things along pretty quickly. As far as Justin Allgaier, he is the series points leader. He's got a 207-point lead for that regular season championship. He did actually lock up a chase spot 2 races ago. He is that far ahead of 13th in points entering tonight. As far as the season, he's got 5 wins, 12 top 5s, 14 top 10s, and a series-leading 457 laps led of those regulars. He also by far has the most stage points with 241. Next closest, Jesse Love in the series. He is 92 stage points behind him. Even though it wasn't a very good couple of races for Allgaier on the road course and street course in San Diego and Sonoma, and his lead went from 250 to 207, obviously still a very comfortable margin over Love, who is still looking for his first win of the season after getting a championship a year ago, kind of similar to Kyle Larson in the Cup Series side. Corey Day, Kyle Larson's protege per se, 30 points after the first 19 races of his rookie season. He's got 2 wins on the year as well at Talladega and Dover. Sheldon Creed with 1 win on the year early at Atlanta. He's 4th in points, and Austin Hill just won 2 races ago in San Diego. His 2nd win, first since Daytona in the season opener. He is, again, 5th in points. Carson Quampa moved up a spot, same for Sammy Smith. They're 6th and 7th. Brandon Jones down 2 spots to 8th in points after that spin in Sonoma a week ago. Parker Retzlaff with a great season for Viking Motorsports, still sitting 9th and has been top 10 in points all year long. Sam Mayer finally on a little bit of a climb here after a rough stretch for most of the year. He's got 5 DNFs, but when he's finishing races, he's getting some good runs, as he does have 5 top 5s on the year, which is actually tied for the 4th most in the series. He is 10th in the standings entering today. And again, 12 make the chase. So Brett Cruz and Taylor Gray for Joe Gibbs Racing are the first 2 drivers in. Cruz has ran 4 less races, but he is proved to be able to make the chase running full-time. Once he turned to the age of 18, he was able to run every racetrack. Taylor Gray is the last driver in the point standings entering this week. He is 20 points ahead of Williams Sawaldt. So you got 3 JGR Toyotas in the first 2 spots, or last 2 spots in the first spot out. Raja Karuta, we've seen in the 88 for a lot of the season, but not every race this year. He's in the 32 for Jordan Anderson racing again this weekend, so a little bit of a tough hill to climb for him. He is coming into this race 26 points below the cut line. Ryan Sieg over 400 out of first. He has about a 50-point gap nearly between himself and Taylor Gray right now for the final spot. Anthony Alfredo is over 100 points back at 16th on the bubble, but had a good couple of runs, a lot of stage points in San Diego. Unfortunately, a DNF in the final stage with that crash, that hard one into the wall. Sam Mayer on the restart early in that final stage in the hour or so. Red flag for the track repair, wall repair in San Diego. Last week he put it all together where he got the stage points and got a good finish to show for. So we'll see what he can do with only ovals to go the rest of the regular season, but a good couple of runs to try to give him somewhat of a fighting chance. You can vote for who you think is going to win tonight's race in our chat poll. That will be open until the end of Stage 2 still, with the extra time to vote since the stream was delayed at the start because the race itself was delayed about 4.5 hours from its original start time. Chase Elliott actually leads our chat poll, and he leads it by just a slim margin over Justin Allgaier, actually, for the most likely candidate to win tonight's race. At 74 votes now, Chase Elliott at 35% of the votes, Allgaier getting 30%, 14% for Connor Zilisch, and 22% if you say somebody other than Elliott, Allgaier, or Zilisch will get the win. Shout out to those of you watching the stream so far, or watching the chat, I guess, before we got things started as well. We got Connor Burke, Michael Turner, JoJo, Tim Fowler, Snakey, Eights, let's see here, Dean Tate in the chat, Frank Powers is still here, Herbie Tucker, Steve J, Smart Gene. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. And some more from the pre-race side of things. Regine Huddleston was here. Mark Chateau. Matthew Campbell. Lori Ann, Marcus Villarreal, and others. Welcome in, and thanks for sticking around here on this late 4th of July evening. Got fireworks going on in the background. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. There's a lot of trees maybe blocking the sound just a little bit. But if you hear any rumbling for the next 30 minutes or so, that would probably be that. I think they're shutting things down about 11 o'clock tonight over there, so might be hearing them for a little bit. We're kind of just starting them right at the start of the stream. It looks like there was nearly some contact for Taylor Gray getting past another car, Justin Allgaier, just a little bit ago. And his wayward up through the field. Mentioned he had some slight contact with Jeff Burton making passes in the early going. Kind of surprised Allgaier's struggling right now. Gray is on the move, though. He's up 14 positions. And Taylor Gray actually won at Kansas Speedway on a 1.5 miles already this season. So maybe he could pull off a win here today also. Wouldn't be surprising considering he has won on this track type already in 2026. As for Allgaier, he's up 5 positions after starting 17th, but definitely not moving up as rapidly as Gray. Gray's got a very good race car, could be of the favorites to go for the win, showing his speed in the early laps. 22 laps complete out of 45 in stage 1, so we're about halfway through the first stage. The lead is now 4.3 seconds for Connor Zilisch over Jesse Love still. Corey Day in third at 5.9 seconds out of the lead. Brent Cruz has fallen back another spot as Chase Elliott just took fourth that last lap. Elliott 7.3 seconds back. A 7.4 second deficit now to Brent Cruz. 8.9 seconds to the 6th place car of Carson Kvapil. Sheldon Creed 9.7 seconds back. Sam Mayer 10.2 seconds back. Parker Retzlaff in 10.5 back. And William Sawalich 10.9 seconds out of the lead rounds out the top 10. Now 24 laps complete, 13 minutes into the race. For fuel purposes, they will not have to pit in stages 1 or 2, with it only being 45 laps each. Final stage, 110 laps to make up tonight's 200-lap distance. Clean start. Races, we've seen some lengthy delays at the beginning of a race. We've seen a lot of cautions in this series, but so far tonight it has been clean. So a little bit of a tide shifting based on just kind of that pacing and how you maybe have to strategize off of when the yellows come out, if they were to come out. No strategy shift to this point, looking like they might have to run this first stage all the way through. CW showing the chase bubble standings as they run right now. Taylor Gray, who came in last driver in on points over Sawalich, increasing that gap a bit. Sawalich behind him in the running order. Some 23 points is the difference between Gray and Sawalich. Came into the night 20-point difference. And then Raja Kruth minus 45 and Ryan Sieg minus 56 as we run. But this race is just getting started, and that's factoring that they would finish in the position that they are running in right now, as well as also finishing there for stage 1 and stage 2, since we have not gotten to the conclusions of those stages yet at all. Again, this is the 20th race of the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series season out of 26 in the regular season. Christopher McComas, thanks for tuning in as well. Hello from West Virginia. Let's go JRM. Mike, welcome to the stream. Hopefully you guys are having a good 4th of July as well. And some NASCAR and fireworks. Nothing says America like that. Taylor Gray looking to make another pass up inside the top 10 now on Parker Retzlaff for the 9th place position. Lowen passed him into turns 3 and 4. What grip down to the bottom of the racetrack does that 54 car Taylor Gray have? Gray's got 2 career series wins, got his first late last season at Martinsville in the elimination race of the round of 8, and also was able to go out and get a win at Kansas Speedway earlier in the season. Helps him out quite a bit, all things considered, knowing that it is a 55-point performance for a win, even if you don't get any stage points. That's a 15-point difference from what it used to be for a win, and it's a 20-point difference between finishing 1st and 2nd. Coming in 20 points ahead of William Sawalich in points, who also has a win this year, kind of keeping pace around that bubble as far as drivers who have a win in the series this season. So Gray is doing what he needs right now to try to get the job done and looking to build on that with another great performance. And if he can get another win, he can maybe move up a couple more spots in the standings here this evening. Doing the Cup race tomorrow? Yep. Yeah, every weekend here for the O'Reilly Truck and Cup Series. Cup stream tomorrow is supposed to be about 5:45 Eastern. So 5:45 Eastern tomorrow evening will be live. Kind of what we were supposed to start here today for this stream. Hopefully weather stays clear tomorrow afternoon and into the night. I can get away with this on a Saturday night, but doing that on a work night, that was tough the couple of times we've had to do that in the last couple of months. Kind of been tricky with the O'Reilly Auto Parts series of rain lately. It seems like haven't had as many rain issues. Obviously, last year we didn't have a single rain issue when it comes to races. We were very fortunate with that. This season we were pretty good up until about a month ago, and then it's kind of been off and on again over the last couple of weeks. Seemingly on the Saturday portions, had a few practice qualifying rainouts for the Cup Series, and obviously the rain-shortened race after hours of a delay at Charlotte for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. The truck race being postponed not 1 but 2 days and having to run on Sunday morning of the 600. 600 getting rain-shortened. That whole weekend was a disaster. Then we go to Nashville the very next week, and the truck race doesn't get started until nearly midnight Eastern time, and then the Cup race ends up with a couple-hour delay on the Sunday, and we don't get things done till around midnight or so Eastern, so another late night here, but luckily it's a holiday, so we kind of can all get away with it. We're all having the ability to more than likely not have to work tomorrow, so that's nice. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed your day. Lucky Dog, thanks for tuning in. Anitza, welcome to the stream. The race is still on the CW. So just as it was originally expected, CW, local affiliate there. That is where you can watch today's race visually, or you can listen live right here on KRC. Another commercial break side by side on the CW is ongoing. Connor Zilich's lead, which was up around 4.5 seconds a little bit ago, has dissipated just a bit. Since Zilich has worked through some heavier lap traffic, he now has a 3.7 second lead over Jesse Love and 3.9 seconds ahead of the third place car, Corey Day. Chase Elliott still rounds out the fourth place position at the moment. 3 Cup regulars in the field here today: Connor Zilich, Chase Elliott, and Cole Custer. Elliott making his first O'Reilly start of the season. He'll be in that car, I believe, one more time here this summer. Remember that drivers are not eligible to race chase races in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, or Truck Series for that matter, from the Cup side. So not too many more weeks that you're going to see some of the Cup guys in the O'Reilly and Truck races. Only a few races to go. I think 4 left in the Truck Series regular season and 6 on the O'Reilly side after this evening. Yeah, Zilich, when he gets clean traffic, still a couple tenths a lap faster than Love and pretty much everybody else up inside that top 5. Top 10. Taylor Gray's now up to 6th place as he just moved up another position that last lap. 19 positions gained in the first stage for Taylor Gray, as we have been caution-free through 36 laps. So less than 10 laps to go, stage 1. See how many cars we've got on the lead lap. Zilich has lapped a few right now. We got 28 cars currently on the lead lap. Garrett Smithley is the first car lap down in 29th at the moment, but how many laps we still have left on the stage and where some of those cars are at the tail end of the lead lap. I do believe we're going to see more cars fall a lap down if we don't catch a caution. Talk about Taylor Gray moving forward for JGR. Brent Cruz, who started in the second place position on the front row, has gone backwards. He is now in the 10th spot, losing 8 positions and in danger. And Parker Retzlaff gets by him here shortly after Retzlaff is now closing the gap on Cruz to falling out of any sort of a shot to get stage points in stage 1. Cruz had a moment where he got a little loose up out of turn 4 a couple laps ago, made contact with a car to his outside. Lost a little momentum in a couple more spots and now just fell out of the top 10. Cruz is going backwards and in a hurry. Justin Allgaier blows by his outside. Retzlaff got by him the corner before that. Now Anthony Alfredo in the 96, Cole Custer in the 0 are there, and Cruz just can't wait to get to that first pit stop at the end of the stage at this point. 18-year-old not taking to this Chicagoland layout very quickly. Zilch with about a 5-second lead this time by at the line, and he's got over 10 seconds to the 5th place car, Sheldon Creed. To the 10th place car, Retzlaff, he's got over half a track lead, 16.2 second advantage there. We will have 5 laps to go in stage 1 this time by.
On the radio telling him, take it easy. Don't. And Adam's not listening. He's listening. He's driving away from the field, about 5-second lead. But we are going to regroup here in 5 laps. And I know we've talked about Taylor Gray. If they can have a good pit stop and come off, he clearly has a car that can compete with Zilich. I also think that Corey Day is another driver to keep your eye on. 17's been right against the wall. Look at that. Right against the wall, being able to make lap time up. Gets a great exit right here. As high as he's running, it almost gives him great position. Jesse Love has moved up there as well. Get down to these 4 or 5 laps to go. We talked about, conserving tires. You just don't at this point. You go up and see what you can learn. But if you see how high that 17 is, you can almost see the dust where he's starting to stir that up. A lot of grip, big risk to do that. Some guys are really good at it. That's so fun. It is fun. Yes, when you get up on the boards like that and make lap time, you feel like you're Superman as Jesse Love responds by going to the top side of 1 and 2. As he's probably been hearing that Corey Day is up there making lap time. On the right side of your screen, you're seeing the battle for 10th in the stage. The last point, Viking Motorsports. Wow. Sliding up into his teammate Alfredo. Here's Cole Custer in the 0, and Allgaier slips away. Says, you guys sort out amongst yourselves. 3 to go on the stage.
Corey Day, left of your screen. We talk so much about stage points, the importance of those. And we've really referenced a lot those guys from Joe Gibbs Racing and the Chase Cut Line. But let's not forget, the battle for second right now is huge when you look at the regular season. The guys second and third on track battling for that. Love and Day, as we'll hit 2 to go, stage 1 this time around.
See, Jesse Love will kind of turn down off the corner. It's a little easier line to run. Get you a little straighter exit. But if you could do what the 17 is doing and enter right against the wall, and carry that speed all the way around, the exit that it allows you to have and the lap time that you can make up all the way down the straightaway is huge. You see Chase Elliott, we got both Hendrick cars.com. Cars running right against the fence. And I think that was a great visual representation of how committed Corey Day was entering on the wall. You can see how straight he was and up against it right on that entry to 1. Chase giving himself a little barrier there. He's a little bit off it, then slides up next to the wall. That's where you're just
working the final lap of stage 1 now, as Connor Zilich still retains that 5-second lead over Jesse Love, who's in a little bit of a battle with Corey Day for second, moved up to that outside line, trying to take away Corey Day's air off the nose of his race car. Day was making up a lot of time around the top of the racetrack. Jesse Love doing the same now. And Connor Zilich running up near the top where he is at, but maybe not quite as close to that wall as the 2 and the 17 were. No need when you got a 5-second lead on the last lap of the stage to do so, though, as Connor Zilich comes across the start-finish line, and he will win stage 1 here this week in Sonoma. So stage 1 winner Connor Zilic leads every lap from the pole so far in this race today. Second place in the stage goes to Jesse Love, Corey Day third, Chase Elliott in fourth, and Sheldon Creed in fifth. Taylor Gray up to sixth. Again, 19 spots gained, most positions gained in the opening stage for that 54 car. 41 of Sam Mayer finishes in seventh, with William Sawalich eighth, Justin Allgaier ninth, and Carson Kvapil rounding out the top 10. Getting that final stage point, 10 points for the stage winner. Zilic all the way down to 1 point for 10th, where Carson Kvapil was 1 point per position. So as we have reached the end of stage number 1, we will take our first break. You're listening live on KRC. Full flag-to-flag coverage of today's race continues. Austin Sullivan, welcome to the stream. Brian Bonda, welcome to the stream. The race is still on CW. So CW is where you can watch today's race. Now, local listings there maybe have changed with the lengthy delay, but I can tell you, at least if you're in the Cleveland area, it is still on CW there. But I can't say it for the rest of the country. Especially with it being a holiday 4th of July night. Maybe some areas have maybe like some kind of a fireworks show or something like that going on. Places Allgaier in. I believe he was 9th at the end of stage 1. Next weekend, Atlanta Motor Speedway. Another 1.5 mile track, but a fast one at that, with the drafting oval. Our second trip to Atlanta on the year. First trip to another, I should say, first time that we've gone to a racetrack for the second time this season. Atlanta turning into one of my favorite racetracks with its current configuration. Should be a lot of fun Saturday and Sunday of next week. Looks like the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race is going to be on Saturday, and I believe another night race as well across both series. Take a look at this. Cup Series race will be Sunday, estimated 7 p.m. start time. And the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, which they just showed it for Saturday moments ago on the CW broadcast, is supposed to be about 7 p.m. start as well. Then the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series is going to be off for a week after Atlanta, before headed to Indianapolis for that famed date at the Brickyard. So that is a look at next weekend. We've got to wrap up this week first here at Chicagoland, as we have just finished stage 1. Going to be having our first pit stops of the race when they come back from commercial. And it will be under caution flag conditions. No yellows in stage 1, caution free for those 45 laps.
NASCAR on the CW is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people. And by Progressive. Save when you bundle motorcycle, RV, and boat insurance. Visit Progressive.com. Stage 1 complete. Chicagoland Speedway for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Let's go down to the RV's pit box in Carla.
Thanks, Adam. And of course, no one is happier to see Chicagoland back on the schedule than Illinois native Justin Allgaier, who said, "I remember everything about this track when it was built, the fact that the round back straightaway was built so that fans could actually see the action." He mentioned how important it was that it was one of the first asphalt tracks in the area, mentioning how many dirt tracks he grew up around. When you couple that with his first win with longtime sponsor Brandt back in 2014, he said that that was almost as special as his first series win at Bristol. Of course, he would love to replicate that today. Started 17th, but has moved up at least 7 spots, Adam.
Yeah, and problems for his teammate, Carlo.
Man.
Connor Zilic wins the opening stage, and a fuel problem for the one group. Here's team radio.
Red shirt. All right, right on the flat. And zero power and everything. That happened.
That's heartbreak. It's like it never ends, the bad luck that he's experienced here in 2026. All right, they'll get things buttoned up there. We go down to Progressive Pit Road and Kim.
Yeah, you see Corey Day, top of your screen in that 17 machine, said felt good, just got slightly tight late in the run for 88 Chase Elliott. He said, all good. I don't think I need anything. Moments where I got a little snug, but then I calmed myself down and put better corners together. So he said, I feel like it's in my control. Dylan?
Sheldon Creed said he was building tighter that run, but don't change much. I like what it's doing. For Jesse Love, said the car was doing the same thing as it was in practice. He was free on corner entry, then a little tight at the end of the run in the center. Small air pressure adjustment to get the nose lower and a track bar adjustment to help his exit.
The always important race off Progressive Pit Road, +2 for Chase Elliott, who will be in control of the race. Jumping out in front of Jesse Love, Corey Day, Taylor Gray, and Sheldon Creed. In celebration of America's 250th, the CW and GovX are honoring the stories of military families and first responders who give so much to help their fellow Americans.
My grandfather saw his duty to take care of his family and go serve the country.
My uncles were both in the military. My brother's in the military, and I always admired all of their service. My path was the fire department.
In all my interactions as a nurse, I feel like I'm doing exactly what I was supposed to do. I've lived my dream, really.
The whole mission of it is to help other people. And if everyone does that, we're living in a better world.
Presented by GovX. Savings for those who serve.
All right, 5-second lead at the end of stage 1 for Connor Zilic over Jesse Love pretty easily without contest winning that first stage. We'll see if anybody's going to have anything for Zilic as we work forward into the night. A little bit of a late one for those Cup Series guys running this evening's race and also will be in the Cup race tomorrow. A couple other drivers running double duty, like an Austin Hill, obviously. J.J. Yaley also in the field for both races this weekend. So 5 drivers doing double duty in both the O'Reilly and Cup Series races at Chicagoland. Rajah Caruth got the free pass at the end of stage 1, being the first driver 1 lap down in the 26th place position, so he had gotten his lap back. And we will have 26 cars on the lead lap beginning stage 2. Taylor Gray, one to look out for, 19 positions gained in that opening stage. Despite starting deep in the field, still ends up with 5 stage points and a 6th place stage finish. Scrolling points across the top of the screen will stay there throughout the course of the night. And as far as our chat poll, that will remain open until the end of stage 2, where you can vote for who you think is going to win tonight's race. 106 votes have been casted so far, and Chase Elliott at 35% of the votes to go for the win. Justin Allgaier at 27%. Connor Zilic, who has led every lap so far, 15% of the votes, and 23% of you taking somebody other than Elliott, Allgaier, or Zilic to take the W. What happened to Brent Cruz just faded fast. And I'm curious to see, with that being his first run at Chicagoland, if he's able to work himself back forward a bit. Make the necessary changes not only to the car, but behind the wheel to maybe keep the race car itself underneath him. Being where he's at in points right now, and drivers around him in the standings having a good night, like a Red Slab, like a Taylor Gray especially. Gonna want to try to keep up with them as much as you can. Can't beat him, at least kind of get within a few positions of him, and he is well off of that 54 Gray right now. Despite being teammates at JGR, despite having the much better starting position.
The Alfredo getting it done. This is snug.
And an assist for Cole Custer there. Buck down the backstretch. The Dude Wipes pass with the Dude Wipes car. That's synergy.
All right, let's do a report here, Team 19, and that would be Brent Cruz, who's fallen back here a little bit. What's the story? What was their problem late in the run, Dylan?
Yeah, well, he had faded to 20th by the end of the first stage. He'd come on the radio and said he felt like they had a bad right front, and when they took it off the car, it basically it looked like it had started to unwind the rubber from the tire. It almost became like a grooved tire. It had worn out so much. So the pit crew actually did a pretty good job here. He's going to restart 12, so gain some spots back on pit road. But here's that right front, right when it came off of the 19. So that's obviously not ideal, and that explains what Brent was feeling and why he was dropping so many spots.
Well, and his teammate had a problem too. Safety violation for William Sawalich in the 18 group, who would have restarted sixth. He'll come from the back after the penalty. Free pass goes to Jeff Burton, and Connor Zilic was able to get to pit road, get it filled, and he stays on the lead lap. Here's the penalty for Sawalich.
It was over the line, but it fell over. The crew member out there.
There's been a lot going on in the
Yeah. And just for Connor Zilic, one thing to note is that we ran a lot of pace laps there when we were drying the track. And those JRF cars, Hendrick Power, they've been winning races. They have a lot of power to the hood, but they've been getting pretty bad fuel mileage compared to the past. Sound like maybe they just ran out of fuel.
By the way, Brandon Jones, you see him there in your screen outside of row 5 for the restart. He made up some ground on the pit lane. Stage 2.
Crazy. Connor Zilic ran out of fuel under caution after winning the first stage by a wide margin. Losing all that track position. Now he's going to have to come from the back despite leading every lap of stage 1. We'll see him attempt to do so, as it's going to be a lot of fun watching him come from the middle to back of the pack. So Chase Elliott won the race out of the pits. He is going to be the leader on the restart alongside Jesse Love on the inside of row number 1. Elliott takes off with his first lead of the race, and through turns 3 and 4 will come back to lead his first green flag lap at the line. Chase Elliott with a few Cup Series races under his belt at Chicagoland Speedway, 4 to be exact. Has a couple of top 3 runs. Led over 100 laps combined between the 2016 and 2017 races when he was still in the 24 car in his first 2 full-time seasons in the NASCAR Cup Series. And out here leading in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race here tonight in 2026. We'll see how much he'll be able to lead. There's a very lengthy caution, by the way. We ran about 9 caution laps, about 7 to 8 caution laps at the end of stage 1. Not sure why that was as long as it was, but now a couple laps into the green flag portion, we're already down to about 34 laps to go for stage 2. Taylor Gray trying to push forward just like he did in the last stage. Lost a couple of positions on pit road. And a few more on the restart as he is now back to 7th. William Sawalich rolled off the pit lane in 6th, as you heard there, uncontrolled tire penalty for that 18 team. So he starts at the tail end of the lead lap, and it had the free pass wrong there. Raja Kurth was actually the last car to the lead lap at the end of the last stage. Jeb Burton was the first car lap down, his teammate tonight. And Jeb Burton, in 27th at the time, was the driver who had gotten the free pass. Caruth on the 23rd spot from the restart. And Jeb Burton already up 6 positions to 20th place in the first handful of green flag laps for stage 2. So top 10 in the running order, about a handful of laps into the second stage. Chase Elliott leads with Jesse Love in 2nd, Corey Day 3rd, Sam Mayer in 4th, Sheldon Creed rounding out the top 5 in 5th. 6th place is Justin Allgaier with Taylor Gray 7th, Brent Cruz 8th, Brandon Jones 9th, and Carson Quapple rounding out the top 10. $30 to go for stage 2 this time by. Once more, you have until the end of that second stage to vote for who you think is going to win tonight's race. 109 votes Chase Elliott, the favorite for the win at 35%, 28% for Allgaier, 15% taking Connor Zilisch, and somebody other than those three at 22% of the votes so far. So you got until the end of lap 90, which is a little less than 30 laps from now. Already a 1.2 second lead for Elliott over Love and 1.7 seconds to the third place car, Corey Day. Taylor Gray working on the 00 of Sheldon Creed. Got to his inside for 7th. Was able to make the pass, and also making the pass was the 19 of Brent Cruz, Gray's teammate, following him through. Major courting going on in that 19 car, Brent Cruz, which is ultimately why he had lost 16 positions in that opening stage. He actually finished 18th after starting second in that 45-lap frame. Now getting some spots back, up 5 positions from the restart. Connor Zilisch in the 1 car up 13 positions early in the second stage after falling out of the lead. Under caution, running out of fuel, didn't save enough in the pace laps at the beginning. How he paced the first 45 laps, ultimately ends up losing the lead. Trying to get it back, though, and he's up to 12th in a hurry. Still within 7.5 seconds of the leader. And for Chase Elliott, the leader that last time with the clean air, ran a 32.232, even in traffic for Connor Zilisch. 32.7, but I'm sure he made that pass on red slap that last lap, considering they were only a 1/10 of a second apart from one another, so that could have slowed him up a bit. But he's within a few 1/10 of a second of the leader still. Even making passes for what is still just outside the top 10. Traffic is obviously a lot heavier. Maisel, thanks for tuning in, taking Allgaier for the win. I'm curious to see what you guys think for who's going to win the race. If you did vote in the chat poll, put it in the chat itself. Who'd you pick to win tonight's race? Our goal for likes on tonight's stream is going to be 50 still. With the delay before the start, we were able to rack up a few extra likes, I believe, while we were all waiting for this race to begin. We're at 44 likes right now, so very close to that goal of 50. Be sure to hit that if you haven't done so yet. And subscribe along the way for more NASCAR-related content right here on the channel. We're live every weekend for Cup O'Reilly and Truck Series racing, as well as Cup practice and qualifying weekend. Qualifying every weekend on the channel. Our second stream of the day, we were actually live for NASCAR Cup Series qualifying, which went on schedule at about 3 p.m. Eastern this afternoon before the big thunderstorm came and delayed this O'Reilly race, which was slated to start about an hour and a half after qualifying, ended up getting pushed back 4.5 hours. So halfway through stage 2, Chase Elliott, the race leader. Still a pretty wide margin. We'll go through the full field running order now as we're 68 laps in out of 200. Make that 69 as they cross the stripe again here. Chase Elliott with a 2.2 second lead over Jesse Love in P2. 3.5 seconds to Corey Day in third. Now 3.8 seconds over Sam Mayer in fourth. Justin Allgaier in the 5th place position with Taylor Gray in 6th. Brent Cruz 7th. Sheldon Creed 8th. Brandon Jones 9th. And Cole Custer rounding out the top 10. Connor Zilisch up to 11th from the restart, which is 14 positions gained from 25th place. Carson Kvapil in 12th. Austin Hill in 13th. Parker Retzlaff 14th and Anthony Alfredo 15th. Now 16th is Jeremy Clements with Harrison Burton 17th. Kyle Sieg 18th. Ryan Sieg 19th. And Jeb Burton in 20th. 21st for Sammy Smith, Dean Thompson 22nd, William Sawalch 23rd, Roger Crew 24th, and Patrick Star-Pulley 25th. Brendan Poole 26th, last car in the lead lap, currently Leland Honeyman in 27th. 28th, first car lap down, Nick Sanchez and Blaine Perkins 29th, LeVar Scott 30th, Mike Snyder 31st, Garrett Smithley 32nd, Ryan Ellis 33rd, Tyler Tomasi in 34th, Joey Gase 35th, 36, Josh Balicki, J.J. Yaley, 37. Dawson Cram rounds out the 38-car field. 2 cars off the racetrack right now. J.J. Yaley pulled off about 15 laps ago. I believe that was around the end of Stage 1. And then Dawson Cram, 35 laps ago, in the middle of Stage 1, pulled off the track. So 2 drivers seem to have been out of the race so far, but no cautions to record through 71 completed laps. 2 lead changes, which would have been Connor Zilic obviously leading at the start of the day. Chase Elliott winning the race off pit road. And just checking to scroll over to the side here. It looks like Jesse Love also led a lap as they were coming to the green on the race start, leading Elliott back to the start-finish line out of the race start zone, but Elliott was clear out of turn 2, and he's now led the last 21 laps consecutively. And again, with the only caution being the lap 45 stage break so far, we did run about 7 caution laps during that stretch of time. So that is your race statistics. Connor Zilic led the first 45 laps of the race today, all under green from the pole, might I add. Justin Allgaier and Taylor Gray battling for 5th on track. Gray, the car on the inside. On the outside is Justin Allgaier. Allgaier with some prior O'Reilly Auto Parts Series starts as well. A couple Cup starts at Chicagoland Speedway before this weekend. Being one of the older veterans in the field. Especially the longest tenured one of those in the top tier equipment. As far as an ability to compete for championships in this series goes. Taylor Gray was able to get by Corey Day for 4th place, by the way. It was a long battle between those 2 cars. Day maybe going to lose another spot to Sam Mayer in the 41. Mayer went down to the apron and then pulling wide to clear out of the tri-oval through the front stretch, taking right back to the outside. Corey Day a lane off of the top, going backwards. Day seemed to be gaining ground on that outside of the racetrack in the last stage, but not the case right now. He is losing time. Maybe going the wrong way on an adjustment. Sam Mayer made a pass for 3rd, Taylor Gray to 4th, Corey Day falls to 5th, and now side by side with Justin Allgaier for that 5th place position. Maybe going to lose 3 positions in the span of about 2 laps. And Allgaier should well be clear up out of turn 2 this time. And he is plentiful. No crossover attempt by Corey Day this time either. If anything, Allgaier tries to take his line away, going up near the wall himself. A lot of action still to go here today. Our live commentary coverage continues here on KRC of the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race at Chicagoland, the Cuervo 300. CW headed to commercial. Dan V, welcome to the stream. How many laps? 200 total. And we are on lap 79 of 200 right now. 45 laps in stages 1 and 2, 110 in stage 3. All the traditional mile and a half O'Reilly races are of 300-mile lengths, 200 laps. The only one that isn't is Atlanta with the hybrid drafting oval. That one's 250 miles, and that will be again next week. One of the shorter races on this schedule. And our second trip to Atlanta this season, of course, that was the second race of the year across the Truck, O'Reilly, and Cup Series seasons. Trucks will be off again next week. Well, I should say they're at least going to be off next week from Atlanta, but I believe they have the standalone event at Lime Rock Park for their final road course race next Saturday. So it'll be a Truck O'Reilly doubleheader Saturday. We're also going to have some Cup qualifying there as well. And then Sunday night for the Cup race. I was looking at the start times at Atlanta with them both being under the lights for the Cup and O'Reilly series, and I didn't check the Truck series earlier. So give me a second to do that. 1 o'clock next Saturday afternoon start time at Atlanta. Yeah, that's going to be a long Saturday. Down to 9 laps to go in stage 2. 2.5 second lead for Jesse Love, or his deficit to that of Chase Elliott. Elliott's led all the green flag laps of stage 2 so far. A little bit of haziness right now. I don't know if that's fog or maybe some area fireworks that are kind of leading for a little bit of a whiteout on the racetrack. I know the ambient temperature much cooler now than what it was before the rain came earlier this afternoon. It was in the low 90s in the Joliet, Illinois area during Cup Series qualifying when that had kick-started earlier. And then I don't even think it's 70 degrees outside right now. It's very reminiscent to 2019 for the Cup Series race. The only difference is they got 10 laps in before a 3.5-hour rain delay when I was there, and it was a 100-degree day, like during the day before the start of the race, and never got back above 70 the rest of the night. It was about a 30-degree drop in temperature. It got cold, it got moist. It wasn't really hazy like it is now, but again, this maybe similar to that. Also kind of similar to how Charlotte on a 1.5 miles went already for the O'Reilly series this year, where they had a multiple-hour rain delay for that one. That was about 3 hours pushing the start time. But actually, no, that one was about 5 hours. Today was 4.5. That was about 5, because I think that was supposed to start at 5 and didn't get started until like 10. And ended up getting shortened. The only good news is there isn't more rain on the way tonight, so we will get through the full distance. And we won't have to worry about coming back again tomorrow. At least not for this race. And they're actually showing Charlotte right now on the broadcast. And I think that is leading because of the haziness. It's crazy these drivers have not only had to deal with this in driving and racing conditions this season, but they literally had to do it about a month ago. The last holiday weekend in the U.S., coincidentally, with Memorial Day weekend, and now on 4th of July. Goal to get to 50 likes on the stream. We have just hit that goal. We're at 52 likes right now, so greatly appreciate those that have hit the like button. Definitely be sure to do so still if you haven't yet. Subscribe. And for more NASCAR content, live commentary streams every NASCAR race weekend for Truck, O'Reilly, and Cup Series action. Plenty to come here this summer. A few more on weeks before the Cup Series second and final off week of the year. In that first weekend of August. And all 3 series will be out of action that week. So we'll be on the grind for a few more weeks yet. A lot of night races this summer. Already had one at Nashville. Obviously, the Coke 600, an annual night race. Here this weekend in Chicago. Next week at Atlanta. And we got a few Saturday night races still to go yet in the summer. Of course, Daytona and that regular season finale. Richmond, Bristol, and the early chase races. A Saturday night show. I think Iowa might be that race also. Haven't looked at the schedule since like really early in the year. North Wilkesboro is a night race. So 3 straight Sunday night races for the Cup Series. Chicagoland, Atlanta, North Wilkesboro. Iowa's an afternoon race. So they have ran Iowa at night before, so that's why it threw me off, but it's an afternoon race this year. Richmond is a Saturday night. Daytona Saturday night, and Bristol Saturday. So those are the 3 Saturday night races, and then they have 3 Sunday nights left. 4 total. Well, I guess they technically have the Memorial Day weekend as well with the Coke 600. Oddly enough, I'm looking at it. The Southern 500 actually starts like an hour early this year. Usually that's about a 6 p.m. start, but that's starting at 5 on that Sunday afternoon this year, which is very unique. Going to be an early end that night. So I got to start in the daylight, finish in the night. Probably going to be another warm weekend, and that's going to be tougher for the drivers knowing they got an extra hour of day racing on that hot, slick racetrack. Of course, that'll be the chase opener for the Cup Series as well. Stage 2 coming to an end. Chase Elliott with a pretty easy gap, a still 2.5-second advantage over Jesse Love to the end of the stage. Love was second at the end of Stage 2 and Stage 1. He will score the most stage points of any driver today, 18 total. Got beat by 2 different drivers after the Stage 1 winner was Connor Zilich. So Chase Elliott first place at the end of Stage 2. Jesse Love second. Taylor Gray third. Justin Allgaier fourth. Sam Mayer rounds out the top 5 and 5th. And Brandon Jones 6th. Sheldon Creed 7th. Corey Day 8th. Connor Zilich up to 9th again. And Brent Cruz much better in Stage 2 and taking care of his tires. And he will finish out the second stage in 10th, getting that final stage point. So as we have reached the end of Stage 2, we're going to end our chat poll out. 120 votes have been casted for who you think is going to win today's race. Chase Elliott, leading and winning Stage 2, has 37% of the votes. 28% for Justin Allgaier. 22% of you taking somebody other than Elliott, Allgaier, Zilich, and Zilich at 13% of the votes. Chase Elliott ever drove for JR before? Well, I mean, he won his O'Reilly championship with Junior Motorsports in the 9 car back in the early 2010s. So, yes. I believe it was his rookie season, too, when he won the title. Then he ran a second year, and I think he finished runner-up in points the second season. Beat out Elliott Sadler that first year for the championship. And we've seen him in the 88 car in recent years running select races. Kendrick is usually rotated either the 17 car in the past or at Junior Motorsports in the 88. They have had the Hendrick Motorsport Cup guys run. William Byron just raced at Pocono a couple weeks ago in the 88 car. Kyle Larson's ran a few races there this season. Chase Elliott scheduled for 2 races total, and this being his first, and we've seen that in recent years. Alex Bowman has ran some races for him. No races for Bowman this year, I think largely due to the vertigo issues he was having earlier in the season. I think he's just going to run only the Cup Series slate. Bam Hall, thanks for tuning in. I got you, Bam. All right, we're going to be seeing some pit stops again here shortly. Second slate of pit stops on the day. No cautions in the first two stages of tonight's race. 90 laps complete. The only yellow is the two stage ends.
It's brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people. The Credit One Bank NASCAR American Express card. And by Progressive Insurance. Get in the savings lane today. Visit progressive.com. As we head into the next stage, it's time to fuel up with Arby's new Angus cheesesteak. With 100% Angus beef, melty Cooper cheese, and a toasted Amoroso's roll, it's exactly what you need to finish strong. Race to yours by texting RACE to 27297 to get notified about Arby's exclusive deals. Order your cheesesteak in the Arby's app today. 2 stages down, Chicagoland Speedway. Jeremy Clements having an issue.
Yeah, this was unexpected. Yeah, to say the least, especially for him. He's going to lose the left rear wheel here. And that wheel is going to continue.
He raced it back to pit road.
Yeah, it came all the way back around to go into the infield. They dragged this car on the left side frame rail all the way around. And here's the tire and wheel going into the infield.
I think
Just this Menards logo.
Tell you what, Parker doing the play-by-play of that whole process was great.
Oh,
I think the,
I'm auditioning. How'd I do?
That's
I think
great.
the safety workers did rock, paper, scissors to figure out who had to chase it into the grass because it was wet and muddy out there.
Well, we got a left rear wheel on this time.
A bit of body damage, not bad.
Yep.
Wheeling caution lights are on as we wrap stage 2. The same Wheeling emergency lights and sirens you see on the safety vehicles here at the track are protecting first responders and communities all across America. Only cautions tonight for stage ends. Connor Zilic won stage 1. Chase Elliott stage 2. It's a junior motorsports suite tonight when you talk about the stages, but a nice mix there. When you look at the top 10, RCR with a good night coming for Jesse Love, Taylor Gray getting it done, good stage points for Joe Gibbs Racing, Sam Mayer up there for the Haas Factory team. And now we get a little radio communication presented by Starkey. Tell you. I could lose a bet, but I would put a lot of money on fog over fireworks smoke.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't
A lot of fireworks around.
There have been. I mean, it is the 4th of July as we celebrate America's 250th. Progressive Pit Road is open. They're heading your way, Kim.
And Adam for the Brandt Chevrolet of Justin Allgaier. He reported free landing entry, tight middle, okay exit. He feels like he's just on top of the racetrack with the right front. So it looks like maybe a tick slow there on the right side. They'll take 4 fresh tires, air pressure, and fuel. For Chase Elliott, said felt good until the end. Felt like I got the rears hot. Said there's things I can do to help, but wouldn't be too bad to be locked down just a touch more, Dylan.
Taylor Gray said that he was edgy on corner entry, but started free and then got tighter to a good spot on the long run. Jesse Love said that he was a number 2 free the entire run. They're going to do some right side air pressure just to try to get him a little bit more comfortable on corner entry.
Thank you, Dylan. The race stop, Progressive Pit Road. Joe Gibbs Racing has been stout on the pit lane all year, +2 for Taylor Gray. Jesse Love comes off second, and here's Chase Elliott coming in.
Oh, he had to go around Jeremy Clements. It cost him 2 spots as he exited pit road. Just wasn't able to get in there as fast as he needed to.
See if he can rally from behind. Final stage coming up.
All right, so Chase Elliott, the stage winner, does not win the race off pit road. Same thing happened to Connor Zilch back at stage 1. And this time, Taylor Gray actually jumps up 2 positions to be the leader of this race. And after all the positions he's gained in this one, this could be a scary lead for the field as we now get to see that 54 car with clean air. We know how good he's been in traffic so far today. So I'd imagine clean air, usually most cars handle better there than what they do in traffic. I'm just going to have to battle with pressure with drivers actually chasing you for the first time, and we'll see how he can react from behind the wheel. Jeremy Granger, thanks for tuning in. It's lost a wheel. Yeah, and he was in his pit box before the leaders actually came into the pits, which isn't always the case, and Chase Elliott having to go around his pit box. Of course, Clements pitted in the box right before Elliott on pit road. Just a little bit of extra time costed Chase, and a fast pit stop by the 54 bunch as well to win Gray the race off of the pit lane. That he not only beat the 88, but had to beat the 2 as well. And did just that. Just getting into the second half of the race. Barely over an hour complete. So clean and green so far. Hopefully the fireworks smoke dissipates just a bit. And doesn't become too much of a problem for the spotters and the drivers. Obviously already a little bit of an issue. We'll take a quick break here while we await the restart to begin stage 3. You're listening live on KRC. Our full flag-to-flag coverage of tonight's race again continues. Right. So you have lots and lots of racing left. Plenty of time to see if anybody's going to be able to challenge for this one. Clean Air definitely seems to be king right now, but it's kind of tough. I mean, Connor Zilch obviously looked very good early on. Led all those laps by a wide margin. Got set behind running out of fuel under caution at the end of stage 1. Didn't manage it well enough on the pace laps like everybody else did. And then Chase Elliott wins the race off pit road, wins stage 2. Pretty easy gap over Jesse Love. But Taylor Gray has gained all those spots after starting 25th, got all the way up to 3rd, now wins the race off pit road. We'll see where he goes from here.
Birthday, America. Happy 250th anniversary, America. Happy 4th of July and happy 250th anniversary, America.
Love that from all the drivers, and it's time for the Let 'em Cook replay presented by Graza, the official olive oil and mayonnaise of NASCAR. So riding on board William Sawalich. I mean, this night has just been full of aggression, and you got to go get it. And as you watch Sawalich make this move, I want to highlight Nick Sanchez in the 87 here. He actually had been scored a lap down. NASCAR said, we had that wrong at the end of stage 1. They've corrected it, given him a lap back. So he's on the lead lap now. Nick Sanchez is scored in the 26th position. Free pass goes here to LeVar Scott. And we follow up with Justin Allgaier, who had a penalty when they made their pit stop. They were inside the top 10.
Yeah, that's frustrating, especially at this point late in the race. You know, he's got a fast car, but it's really hard. I think he had a car capable of winning to get the right restart, but to have to go to the tail end of the longest line now with that penalty, things are going to have to play way into his favor to get back up there.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the importance of Connor Zillich making a run. in stage 2 to get back in contention. And now Allgaier's going to have to do it in the final stage. Makes it very, very difficult. He was 4th before they came to pit road. So Taylor Gray is going to be in control. And we just been updated here. Bottom right of your screen, the fella here in the black shirt stepped onto a hot pit road. He's in the opening. You can't really see the opening there, but there was an opening, and that's what allowed him to get around the pit lane, and he was penalized. There you see it.
Yeah, there's the opening where the cameraman is right there. You saw it when they panned left. The official was standing right there, and his foot went over that line. You can't do that.
Gray, Love, front row. They're coming through the Pro and Restart Zone. Final stage at Chicagoland.
Wonder if that was like somebody who had like a hot pass or something that was by the 17 that had done that. I thought it was an uncontrolled tire penalty. Apparently, too many men over the wall. But anyway, safety violation in the pits. Justin Allgaier tail end of the lead lap now. Jesse Love takes the race lead on the restart away from Taylor Gray, despite the fact Gray was the controlled car. He has been really good on the long runs. We'll see how he fares on the short run as he loses the lead temporarily, at least. And now into second place, the 88 of Chase Elliott. And Gray will fall back to third after restarting as the leader on the opening green flag lap of stage 3. Restarted with 100 to go, now down to about 99 laps to go this time by at the line. And everybody is chasing Jesse Love in the 2. Top 5 on the leaderboard as we get the first 2 green flag laps in for the final stage. Jesse Love jumps out on top and is the leader. Chase Elliott is scored in second. Taylor Gray third, Sheldon Creed fourth, Sam Mayer rounds out the top 5 at 5th. Elliott all over the back bumper right now of Jesse Love for the lead. Takes to the inside, not quite able to get to that left rear corner panel of Love, but very, very close. Love with that wider line through the center of the corner, had him get a little bit more straightaway. Love cuts to the bottom of the racetrack, slides up, middle groove for Chase Elliott. Elliott a bit more of a run off turn 4, shoots to the apron as they cross the start-finish line. Love leads that lap, and they nearly meet in the middle. Love went down to the apron, trying to side draft the 88 of Chase Elliott late. That is going to cut Elliott's corner off into turn 3. He slides the rear of the tires, and he pulls just up to the back bumper of Jesse Love again down the back stretch, but can't stay to the inside. Connor Zilch trying to work forward. He's bump drafting Corey Day. Day enters the corner way too hot. After getting that push from Zilic, had to lift, loses a couple of positions to Creed and Zilic. Brent Cruz underneath the 17 as well. Chase Elliott still battling for the lead with Love. Elliott led that last lap at the line, but Love was able to side draft the right rear corner panel and not let Elliott get clear and pulls him back around. Elliott is not going to be able to complete the pass despite leading at the line. And now the third place race car, Taylor Gray, is back in the battle for the lead with the top 2 as well. Elliott much stronger than Jesse Love here early in the run and trying to put forth a good effort to take the lead, and Taylor Gray will make this a 3-car battle. Elliott to the apron for the 3rd consecutive lap on the inside of the tri-oval as he tries to complete the pass on Jesse Love yet again. Through the center of the corner, Elliott will be clear as he slides up in front of Love. Now Taylor Gray looks to the inside of the 2-car down the back straightaway. Love with a run off the top will take to the bottom into turns 3 and 4, trying to get back to the inside of the 88. Elliott will give that lane open to the bottom for Love. Love not going to be able to carry the speed necessary to stay to the inside of Chase Elliott. Elliott continues to lead here at Chicagoland. And in the draft, in the tri-oval, Taylor Gray right behind the 2 of Jesse Love as he still looks to try to take second place away from the 2-car. Side by side for that position as they exit off of turn 2. Taylor Gray is going to maybe take that spot into 3 and 4. Cuts all the way to the bottom of the track. Will be cleared through the middle of the corner. How much of a run is Love going to get to maybe attempt a crossover here? Tough to tell for sure. We got an unscheduled pit stop early in stage 3. Sheldon Creed coming to pit road. Might have had some contact on the restart or maybe cutting a tire. Tough break for Creed as he was just inside the top 10, and this is going to put pretty good damper on things for him as far as trying to get a good finish. Tough to come back from those things in stage 3, especially now that we're not guaranteed any more yellows, and it's been a relatively clean and green race so far today. Mostly O'Reilly races this season. Seems like we've had a decent fare of cautions, but not the case last week in Sonoma, and not the case so far this week at Chicagoland either. No yellows to be exact here today. I believe it was Kansas Speedway for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series this season where we actually didn't see a caution for incident until right before overtime, and that set up an overtime restart at the end of the race. Minus the opening lap crash with the flip from Carson Quapple. We saw the opening lap crash, then we saw a crash late that forced overtime. Those were the only 2 yellows of the entire race. Right to the inside for the race lead on Chase Elliott. Did not take long after taking away second from Jesse Love. Elliott able to lead for a few laps before Gray was able to try to attack. Gray slams the door shut on Elliott. Chase looking for a crossover to the inside. Gray has to give him a little bit of room. And Chase Elliott side drafts out left rear corner panel. Gets the pole down to the bottom of the racetrack. Through the middle lane goes Taylor Gray. Elliott does not wrap the inside well enough. Gray's going to be cleared by several car lengths off of turn 2. And for the second time tonight, Taylor Gray leads with the first pass he's made for the race lead under green flag conditions. And he'll lead his first green flag lap this time by after winning the race off pit road. The end of the last stage, but fell to third quickly on the restart. Has retaken the lead as Gray tries to go for his second win. And on 1.5 miles as well, looking for his second win on this track type this season. Chase Elliott actually has the fastest lap of the race still, and that was back in stage 2 at lap 55 of the 31.077. Taylor Gray, the new leader, has actually ran his fastest lap 10 laps ago. Lap 102 in stage 3. Brandon Jones is up to 4th place, also in a Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota, ran his fastest lap in stage 3 also. Only 2 drivers in the top 5 to do so. Cole Custer 7th with his fastest lap. Great run in that 0 car. Best run Cole Custer's had of the O'Reilly races he has ran in that car this season. He's had a handful of them. Connor Zilic, after dominating stage 1, surprised we haven't really seen much of him since. He is in 8th. Still trying to recover. Side-by-side commercial break on the CW with a little less than 90 laps to go at Chicagoland. We are going to take a quick break. Thank you for listening live late on a 4th of July Saturday night. And I'll let you listen into the TV coverage on the CW's broadcast and they come back from this next commercial. Adam Alexander with Jamie McMurray, Parker Kligerman in the booth, as they are for most of the O'Reilly races throughout the season. Dylan Welch has called a couple of races, and then also saw a rotating guest of Cup Series regulars in the booth in the last handful of CW races, but not going to be that way the rest of the season. Going to be back to Parker Kligerman and Jamie McMurray on the call every week. And maybe we'll see Dylan Welch again or two before the season is up. Adam Alexander still doing double duty with the TNT races now, alongside with the CW races for the O'Reilly Series. TNT on the Cup side, of course. The 5 races of Prime Video. 4 races to go on TNT as the in-season tournament continues. And we'll highlight that a little bit more in our pre-race for tomorrow's stream, which will begin at 5:45 Eastern. So again, 5:45 Eastern, we will be live for the NASCAR Cup race tomorrow evening. Beginning with our pre-race, we'll do a little NASCAR trivia, highlight the Fantasy League, highlight the in-season tournament, round of 16, second round action from Chicagoland, and we will also go through the starting lineup and obviously get into that 400-mile, 267-lap race, the Euro 400. Everybody will have to pit for fuel and tire purposes in this final stage. More than likely going to try to split this stage in half. We've restarted with about 100 to go, so probably not going to be until about 50 to go before we see some pit stops, most of which fuel window will open with about 60 to go in the stage.
The lead away from Chase Elliott. Pretty impressive to see how fast that 4 car has been all night long. Chase Elliott obviously won stage 2. It looked like he was going to have control of this race, but Taylor Gray, that car started off good, got a little kind of even kill in stage 2, and then has come to life again here final stage.
Allgaier had the penalty, so he has to come from the back. He's already back up to 13th as he goes around his teammate Carson Quapple, riding with Alfredo, who's having another good night. Inside the top 15.
Not a really competitive night for Viking Motorsport. Mark Renslaw there just outside the top 10. But they've continued this momentum that they had at the road courses as he passes. Oh, almost. Now he does pass. Good clears him. That's right.
Couple disagrees.
Yeah, I don't really want you in front of me. Not at all.
Carson will not be sharing the Arby's coupons with Alfredo next week.
So frustrating when you're on the bottom of one of those cars and you can't get that pass completed because of the momentum that the outside car has. See Carson's able to kind of counter here. You see Alfredo went to the bottom. Build up any momentum here on the exit. It seemed like Alfredo had a great corner right there running the bottom of turns 3 and 4. Carson faded at the end of stage 1. I just haven't really seen anything great out of that race car as Brandon Jones looks the inside of Jesse Love here. Bit quiet, man. It's not Brandon, but Anthony's moving up. We know how good he is on mile-and-a-half racetracks.
That's just his personality, right?
Yeah.
I mean, here he is. He doesn't have a great starting position because qualifying's rained out and he wasn't great last week at Sonoma. But here he is, a mile and a half, and once again the 20 finding their way, Dylan.
But he kind of called his shot talking to Kim in the free race, right? He said there are so many similarities here to Kansas where they run so well. So look, they expected this, and Sam McCauley told me the same thing, the crew team. He said, we won't. Remember, they did the tire test here in April. That was super beneficial for the whole thing. I think you see that evidenced by how good the 54 has been as well. But Sam said, as everybody else gets better with laps, we feel like we're still going to be a step ahead of everybody because of that tire test. So you've seen that. The track has changed a lot. They've been on it from the jump. They're now up 26 spots from the 29th position where they started to third for the 20 and not showing any signs of slowing down. They're good on the long run.
Here's what I would say, though, when you talk about Brandon Jones. I referenced it in our rain fill. When you look at the playoff tracks, the chase tracks, they set up really well for Brandon because there's 3 mile-and-a-halfs there. Okay, what about his teammate, Taylor Gray, who won at Kansas? And tonight has just been unbelievable. And you wonder, where is the balance of power at mile-and-a-halfs? Well, the other 3 mile-and-a-half races this year were won by Cup regulars. So when you start thinking about the chase, it's this duo from Joe Gibbs Racing that could have something to say about how it goes down in September, October, November.
And I think back to how Taylor Gray won that Kansas race. Yes, he had a fast car, but it was a call to be first on the pit road, short pitting on a long green flag run in stage 3. They got him to the lead, but then he held off a charging Sheldon Creed on older tires, was able to manage that perfectly to get that win. And tonight, though, this is just straight up raw speed. He's just faster than everyone. The way he was able to carve through the field in stage 1, get the lead here, and drive away for Chase Elliott. Mightily impressive.
So Brandon Jones has been the fastest car consistently on the track, not a lot, but if you look on the bottom of your screen, he's 3.7 seconds back. As Parker just mentioned, the short pit, it's hard to short pit make up 3 seconds. You can make up a second and a half or so. The lap time fall off, that'll be a 1 to 2 second or 1 or 2 lap short pit for those guys. But if Gray can continue to carry out that lead, you get a 3 or 4 second lead, you got a lap or 2 in the bank of being able to stay out if the caution does fall out and be in the right position on the strategy.
Good night for Joe Gibbs Racing. Good night for Richard Childress Racing. Austin Hill, 5th, Kim.
Yeah, Adam, I think this is the first time we've said his name all night because he's finally broken into the top 5. But this team, this 21 team, has worked diligently to get that car better all night long. Was not good at the beginning of this race. Too loose. He couldn't get the right stick. It was very sensitive. Couldn't attack the cars. They took a huge swing at the end of stage 1. They changed track bar adjustments, air pressure, pulled both Packers. Still, that second stage was still free. Kind of came to him 7 or 8 laps in, but ended that run very free. Made some adjustments at the end of stage 2, and this stage, to start this final stage, Austin finally telling his team, this is the best we've fired off all night long.
See, the driver that won a couple of weeks ago on the streets in San Diego. 75 laps to go. We're about 15 laps away from the window opening for green flag pit stops. Taylor Gray leads.
Taylor Gray out in front of the field with Chase Elliott 2.8 seconds back in the second place position. Brandon Jones in third, Jesse Love fourth, and Austin Hill rounding out the top 5 in fifth. Connor Zilch is in the sixth place position with Sam Mayer seventh, Cole Custer eighth, William Sawalich ninth, and Brett Cruz rounding out the top 10. Corey Day in 11th, Parker Retzlaff 12th, Justin Allgaier 13th, Anthony Alfredo 14th, and Ryan Sieg in 15th. 16th place, Carson Quapple with Nick Sanchez 17th, Dean Thompson 18th, Patrick Staropoli 19th, and Sammy Smith in 20th. 21st for Kyle Sieg, Harrison Burton 22nd, Brendan Poole in 23rd, 24th, Raja Caruth, and Jeb Burton 25th. Leland Honeyman 26th, LeVar Scott 27th is the last car in the lead lap. Sheldon Creed had to pit early under green flag conditions at stage 3. He is now 28th a lap down. Mike Snyder 29th, Garrett Smithley in 30th. 31st is Ryan Ellis, Jeremy Clements 32nd, Tyler Tomasi 33rd, 34th Joey Gase, Blaine Perkins 35th, and Josh Balicki in 36th. 2 drivers that pulled off the track and out of the race tonight. J.J. Yaley will finish 37th, and Dawson Cram 38th. So that rounds out the full 38-car field here tonight. 73 laps still to go from Chicagoland Speedway. Again, a 2.9-second lead for Taylor Gray over Chase Elliott. We will take another break. You're listening live on KRC. Our full flag-to-flag coverage of tonight's race once more continues. Heat index over 100. It was earlier in the week. Not today. I think today was right around 90. Ambient temp was in the mid-80s, and I think we were probably in the mid-90s for heat index. I didn't look for today, but today was much cooler compared to the rest of the week prior. All week, it's pretty much been in the mid to high 90s, and the heat index in the mid 100s. 105 to 108. Crazy stuff. Tell you what, NASCAR probably glad that they're not in Atlanta this week versus next week. Next week, hopefully will be. I mean, it's still going to be hot next week in Atlanta. Don't get me wrong. It's hot Atlanta for a reason, but they did that this week. It was going to be damn near 100 degrees. It was going to be a hot race. Miserable for those in the grandstands and especially those in the race car. Taylor Gray still growing his lead out. Brandon Jones closing in a bit on Chase Elliott for second for the time being. Cole Custer during the commercial break moved up another spot to 6th place as well. Recently making a pass on Sam Mayer. Connor Zilch also getting by Mayer for 7th. We play Chase Elliott getting just a little loose through turn 2. Ended up scraping the wall off the exit of the corner a few laps ago. And that took place during the side-by-side commercial. Radio communication for the 88 there of Chase Elliott. At least the back end of it didn't unmute it quick enough. Cautions out on the racetrack for the first time today for an incident with about 68 laps to go. Connor Zilch's right rear tire has come apart, and the carcass is laying on the outer lane through turns 1 and 2. So yellow flag is out for debris. Top break for Zilch was running in the 7th place position. Dominated stage 1 after starting on the pole, and now he's going to have to try to come from behind again, as he's going to have to pit early with that flat right rear tire. Didn't take a ton of damage to the race car, so he will definitely be able to continue. And we are not quite in the window to make enough fuel to the end from here. Each of these teams still have a couple sets of tires left, so by pitting now, this isn't the final set of tires going on the race car. If we catch another caution later, we could see pit stops again. And we are, again, right also on the edge of that fuel window. by pitting under this caution now. Circuiting with 67 laps to go under the yellow. Right around 60 laps under green. Going to be a full fuel run by the time we run a few more caution laps. Especially once pit road opens and everybody cycles through. Probably going to restart with a little bit more than 60 laps to go. So this has turned into a fuel mileage race if we don't catch another caution the rest of the way. On a night where we've only caught one caution for incident in general anyway. Pit road still closed that last time by. We'll wait to see if it opens. Top 6 on the running order. Taylor Gray leads. Chase Elliott second. Brandon Jones third. Jesse Love fourth. Austin Hill in fifth. And Cole Custer sixth. Walked home from JR High School. It was 112 regular temp. Yeah, that's hot right there. Cautions usually breed cautions. We'll see. Hasn't been the case so far tonight, but this is the first one for incident. Although coming out for debris specifically. Pit road should be open this time by. Looks as if the leader, Taylor Gray, should be coming down. Be absolutely shocked if the whole field does not make their way into the pits this time. Chase Elliott in second place, going to try to close the gap. Couple lap cars between the top 2 in the running order. As the leaders come to pit road.
With here, Progressive Pit Road is open. Everybody coming in, Kim.
Including Austin Hill, said, I have to manage the right rear just a little bit, but he said, I don't want much. All the adjustments we've made have been good, so just a little bit more in that direction. Chase Elliott in that 88 car said, I think I went over the line and paid the price, so some of that's on me. Just needs a little bit more rear grip. Marty Lindley telling him, no, we will make another stop so you can go hard when we go green, Dylan.
Brandon Jones said his race car was 2 numbers loose overall. They made a chassis adjustment, 4 tires and fuel. Just an air pressure adjustment, it looks like, for Taylor Gray. His report was that it trended snug. That seems to be a consistency from a lot of guys. The track's starting to add some grip here late in the going.
When you look at the fastest stops of the year, you point to Joe Gibbs Racing.
Taylor Gray winning the race off pit road for the second time tonight. This time, though, it's for the lead. Didn't have to gain a couple spots like he did at the end of stage number 2. Brandon Jones, second out of the pit lane. Going to be right there in the front row with his JGR teammate. Both the 54 and 20 have struggled on restarts tonight, so the fact that they're both on the front row, going to be interesting to watch and see how that all pans out. So it's very lucky that tire carcass coming apart while he was on the bottom of the racetrack. Didn't spin him around or wash him up the track where he could have damaged the car or taken a hard hit severely. He's kind of rolled off lazily and had to come down onto pit road. Now he's at the tail end of the lead lap for the second time today. No good luck for that one team after winning stage 1. That's about all the luck that they have had so far. Raymond Joss, Tim Brown, thanks for tuning into the stream. And thank you to those of you who have stayed tuned in throughout the course of tonight's live commentary coverage. Under caution for the first time in stage 3, as we are going to have around 60 laps to go on the restart. You're listening live on KRC. An hour 35 minutes into the race, 3 cautions. Lap 45 and lap 90 stage breaks, and now just moments ago, a caution at lap 133. For debris in turns 1 and 2 on the outside lane of the track. Connor Zildjian's right rear tire came apart, causing the caution. 7 lead changes today, most of which on pit road, but we've seen a couple early in stage 3, both in the pits and under the green flag conditions, with the likes of Jesse Love, Chase Elliott, and Taylor Gray alone leading green flag laps in the final stage. Dropped my water bottle. Caught it, though. Good hands. Athleticism on full display, even with my slow reflexes this late at night when I'm a bit tired. Again, Connor Zillage, right rear tire came apart, the cause of the caution here. Nobody actually wrecked. Only 2 cars out of the race tonight. Early exits because of mechanical failures. And those being J.J. Yaley and Dawson Cram. 36 of the 38 drivers who started the race are still in it. And we've got 27 on the lead lap. Sheldon Creed was the first car lapped down. He'll get back on the lead lap, I do believe, unless it was LeVar Scott. Was wrong on the free pass the last time, so it might have been LeVar Scott this time around. In 27th, getting his lap back. So no, I believe it was Sheldon Creed. So I'm going to have to refresh my page here. I believe Sheldon Creed got the free pass. Yes, he did. So I did have it right the first time. Creed back in the lead lap. There's your race off pit road. Taylor Gray wins the race out of the pits. Brandon Jones in second. Chase Elliott third. William Sawalich fourth. Jesse Love will be fifth. With Sam Mayer sixth. Austin Hill seventh. Brett Cruz eighth. Corey Day ninth. And Justin Allgaier rounding out the top 10. Cole Custer dropping back a handful of spots to 11th. And Carson Quapple now in 12th.
Hi, Toyota. Let's go places. Been a long day for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series on this July 4th from Chicagoland Speedway. But we've hit the final stage. The racing has been incredibly entertaining. Taylor Gray is leading. Let's get a report on the guy back there in the 5th spot. Jesse Love down to Dillon.
Yeah, there was lots of chatter after that pit stop of just how close everybody is on fuel. And if they think they can try to make it to the end, let's get some Starkey radio communication from the 2 team on what they think the strategy is moving forward.
It's worth taking a shot, though.
Yeah, and some of these guys, though, have shown their hand and just basically said there's no way. Just run hard because we're not going to try to save fuel.
And historically, the RCR cars are really good at stretching fuel. We know that from Austin Hill. And I think back to Watkins Glen, what put Jesse Love in position to be battling for the win in that race was stretching fuel further than anyone did in that race. So he has a skill at doing that, and that team and those engines do get good fuel mileage.
Saying what a lot? Scan the QR code to take a short free online hearing test. Now let's listen in to Starkey radio communication with the race leader, Taylor Gray.
Make it. We got 9, 8.
Joe Gibbs Racing. We talked about their efforts on the pit lane. That 18 team has gained 11 spots since they had that penalty early in the race. Let's get an update. Corey Day, Kim.
Yeah, as we talk fuel, Adam Waldecrucci said, we're not going to even try. We are 10 laps short, so plan on either pitting under green or if we get a caution.
All Joe Gibbs Racing front row. Restart coming with 61 remaining. Taylor Gray in charge as the leaders hit the restart zone.
Taylor Gray struggled on that last restart, ended up losing a couple of spots. You see Brandon Jones. Wow, great restart. Does he even have the momentum at the right time, though? Down here in turns 1 and 2 is Love all the way to the top.
Look at this restart. Does he quite clear Taylor Gray? I don't think so. He's going to give Taylor the momentum down the back. Now it's a side draft into 3.
Brandon Jones inside. Taylor Gray outside. Chase Elliott right there with him.
That 88 car fires off so good. He's able to run that second line. He's going to make it at 3 wide for the lead. What, are you kidding me on the apron?
Here comes Chase Elliott, charging to the inside of the 88, and he leads once again in Chicago.
And he was finally aggressive, like we talked about, Parker. He was patient maybe early on, but not for the lead late. The 88 sailed it off in there, slid up in front of those guys, and got the lead.
Definitely not timid that time. At the right time when he needed it. Went deep into turf one. It stuck. Gets the lead.
Boy, William Sawalich had a handful. Sam Mayer trying to take advantage. Austin Hill will do it. Brett Cruz a part of the equation. And Justin Allgaier back in the top 10. He had that penalty earlier.
He heard the direction from Marty Lindley on Chase Elliott. He's like, look, 10 laps short, just go. From a driver's perspective, that's great. Like, I don't have to worry about trying to save fuel. Just go out and go as fast as I can. If we have to pin under green, we do that. If the caution comes out, maybe it works in our favor. Tell you, Jesse Love's not saving any. Well, I was just saying, the opposite side of that is what Jesse Love was instructed about, how they might be close enough to save some fuel to make it all the way. And that's a tough thing because you go through a restart like this where you just have to push all out 100%. But then, every day, way up the track.
Goodness.
Gathers it up.
Parker Retzlaff said, hang on, bud, coming through outside lane. 13th. Tech maybe 19, Rick Cruz, 0, Cole Custer.
Oh, you see contact there from Sieg. Got into the left rear. I think they got stacked up just a little bit because of what happened off turn 4 with Custer and Britt Cruz. Corey Day paid the biggest penalty of everybody in that.
Taylor Gray staying right there with Chase Elliott.
Well, these two guys, they're running 3.5 tenths quicker than third place right now. You see Chase give that little peek up in his mirror. You'll come off the corner, kind of judged off how you felt you ran the corner and see if you're getting away or if he's closing in. And I can tell you, Chase, it looks to me like he's closing that gap just a little bit. He's seeing the same thing. Yeah. Hearing him too from his spotter.
Chase has led 55 laps tonight, over 140 in his career in Chicagoland. That's the most in any track for him in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, where he is a champion. Got it done 12 years ago, driving with Junior Motorsports.
I can tell you, listening to that on board, it's a lot of throttle coming out of the 88 car right now. Heard these guys have to work the throttle on out night long with how slick the track is as the tires wear. But right now, grip level's high. Lots of throttle in these cars. And this track is seriously cooled down from when we started today. And it's just going to continue to gain that grip into the nighttime. You get the chances to work on that race car, make adjustments to make it better. And normally, as we get these final runs of the race, this is when you go the fastest. Justin's done a nice job recovering, had to go to the back. Issue on pit road, the penalty he received, but right there is for 10th position, trying to get to the outside of Cole Custer. He seems sliding up the racetrack. Cole fight back on the inside. Center's got the momentum that you always have running the top side.
Nick Sanchez, 87. We talked about the scoring situation. Thought they were a lap down. Got their lap back. He's been productive 15th. And Connor Zillage, who's had multiple issues tonight after leading wire to wire in stage 1, I'm going to get back inside the top 15.
Yeah, he'll definitely get the most passed cars tonight. Yeah, absolutely.
And the doctor doing a good job.
Doctor having a great night.
Yeah, Patrick Starpoli in the 48 looking good. Time to go full throttle with Sound Gear. Wherever sound is a problem, Sound Gear has the solution. Scan the QR code to learn more. It's soundgear.com. Turn it up. It's still July 4th in Joliet, Illinois. But if you're watching on the East Coast, we appreciate you staying up with us because it's Sunday morning out east. This race was scheduled to go green at 5:40 Eastern time. We had rain move through here about an hour before that. Had to dry the track, took a while, heavy storms in the Chicagoland area, but we persevered. We're going to get it in. Been a fun evening for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. 50 to go. The fourth quarter is here. Chase Elliott in front of Gray, Jones, Love, and Sawallich.
Chase Elliott's lead only about 0.4 of a second the last time across the start-finish line with 46 laps to go. Taylor Gray in the second place spot with Brandon Jones third, Jesse Love fourth. About a 3.8 second deficit to the fifth place car, William Sawallich. 10th place, Justin Allgaier, 6.6 seconds back after too many men over the wall and a pit road penalty for that 7-team, setting them behind just a bit. Connor Zilch just had his right rear tire come apart. He is back up to 14th. He won stage 1 of this race today. Actually lost some spots on pit road because of an uncontrolled tire penalty and then having this flat tire. So he's been set back multiple times. He is now in 14th place, and that opens the door up for what was the stage 2 winner, Chase Elliott and Taylor Gray, who seemed to be the class of the field throughout the entire final stage of this race and even through stage 2 as well. 65 laps led today for the race leader right now, Chase Elliott. 35 laps led for Taylor Gray, 1 for Brandon Jones. Jesse Love has led for 5 early in stage 3. 48 laps led were the first 48 for the pole sitter Connor Zillich here tonight. And those are all the drivers to lead at least 1 lap in the race today. So 5 different leaders, 9 lead changes, 3 cautions, 1 for incident, which was in the final stage with about 68 laps to go. 21 caution laps for the 3 yellows in total, and obviously the 2 stage yellows at lap 45 and lap 90. 1 hour, 48 minutes and counting into today's race as we're down to 45 laps to go. Justin Allgaier looking to pick up another spot to the inside of the 0, I believe, of Cole Custer. Bottom of the racetrack, going to make a pass on 1 car, and now looking to maybe try to make a pass on the next driver in front of him potentially as well, which I believe is a lap car that he is working by. So not a pass for position through turns 3 and 4. Quapple in his rear view getting a little bit smaller as Allgaier pulls away from him very quickly. Well, we got a spinner in turn 2. And it's Connor Zillich. Man, what a rough night this kid's had. And caution is out for the 3rd time.
What a night. I mean, they are yo-yo, right? What a night he's having. So I think about this. I'm really curious now, how do you handle it? Because you're front. Yeah, we'll manage the caution first. But I just think about, you got a set of tires. You're well within your window, but 44 laps to go. Yeah. Caution with 20 to go. You'd love to put them on then, right? So, I mean, it's never easy on the pit box.
This is one of the hardest decisions as a crew chief in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series you will make all year, which is, do you come get these tires? Do you leave a set? For some of the front runners, it maybe gets made for you, but if you're further back, do you take the risk to say, hey, is there a caution at 15 to go? And you can have new tires when no one else does. This is one of the toughest decisions.
I think I'll take my chances right now, guys.
But Rich had a green flag.
Give me 4 new feel goods.
Right?
Call me in 20 laps when we got the caution.
The race trend says, come get them and go.
Yeah.
Garrett Smithley, free pass. He's back on the lead lap.
I mean, you got to come into the pits now because you're not guaranteed another caution.
Seth Chavka, working hard, managing the numbers.
You don't want to
figure out what's going to happen
not
next.
hit here and then not have another caution.
Hey,
you
managing
just
some
leave an
air
extra set of
pressures.
tires there. You
Here's
already bought them
Connor.
for the weekend. Might as
What
well
did he
use
have
them.
another flat?
Just
And we talked about how loose this car was, and that's, I mean, maybe it already hit the wall and the tire was going down, but
That's a classic case of something broke and it was called rear traction.
yeah, that's one way to put it. He talked about putting the brake bias all the way to the front, and since vaulting away from the field in stage 1 and then running out of fuel, this has all gone the wrong way for this team.
He's back in 15th. Two-time winner this year. Incredible rookie campaign last year. Just missed out on the title. Mentioned earlier, coming off his career best finish as a Cup driver, running for Rookie of the Year at NASCAR's top level in 2026.
For everything that went right for Connor Zilic last year, Buddy, it has all went wrong this year.
Now, but still, I mean, 19 years old, going to be 20 soon. So much in front of him. Just got to
Such a bright
maintain
future.
that
Incredibly bright future, and it's just going to be a blip on the radar one day.
Well, he did the booth with us, came up here in Nashville. What a delight. Just
great guy.
super impressed. All right, green light's on. Pit road is open. And ball is to come down Progressive Pit Road. Look at that line, Kim.
Yeah, but it was a huge debate on the 88 radio. Crew Chief Marty Lindley thought originally it was too early to come and found if they came now and they got another caution when they were kind of stuck using their last set of Goodyear tires here, but ultimately he thought everybody was going to come, so brought Chase Elliott down. They'll take a little bit more of the adjustment they took last time. You see that chassis right there, chassis adjustment to get more rear grip, Dylan.
And Jones said it had more overall grip and was coming to him. Pit crew has been great. They'll need another great stop tonight. Taylor Gray said he was a tad snug, had built to that both runs in this stage. And Jesse Love said he was free into 3, but good into 1. They're going to make a chassis adjustment just to try to neutralize the balance.
Games being played. As we watch him come off, Ryan Sieg is the first off. Brandon Jones comes out behind him. And then it was Chase Elliott. So you plug it with fuel.
I love this call.
Save a set of tires. So you've got the track position.
Yep.
But if we do get another caution, you're in a spot where you can come down and get some stickers. We'll see how it all shakes out. We'll get the lineup and the restart when we return on CW.
Yeah, quite the risk to not take tires here. Save them for a potential another caution a little bit later down the line after we ran a decent amount of laps where you can actually have a significant advantage on fresh tires. This track is like a cheese grater when it comes to the tires that are on the cars as is, so it'll be very, very intriguing to say the least as to who is going to get the upper hand here, and obviously going to have to set through on this next restart. I had to assume somebody was going to stay out and try to go on an alternate strategy with the leaders. Surprised considering Brandon Jones was in the top 5. That he appears to be doing it. And you got Ryan Sieg in the 39 car also on track. Came down, topped off for fuel only. Just enough to win the race out of the pits. So tough break, all in all, to see everything happen the way it did. Not a good night for Connor Zilic.
6:30 Eastern time. This really is a fun race. And I think back to the beginning of the year and that epic finish we had when Sheldon Creed got his first career victory. Join us next Saturday on the CW.
I think most people have watched the fireworks and they've come back in, probably laying in bed, and watching the end of this race.
You're still up with us. We appreciate you.
They're saying, why are they replaying the race right now? Oh, we're live. They're still here.
Don't worry.
All day. Don't worry about it.
That's how we've spent all July 4th and 5th.
Look at this. I mean, the strategy for Matt Noyce, they come down fuel only. You get the track position. And Who knows how this is going to shake out? But Kim talked about Marty Lindley and the stress of, do you pit now or is it too early? They come down and get their tires. 39 still got a set.
I just love this call. You look at where they're running. There's a massive amount to be gained here. If we get that caution in 20 laps or so, this is going to fall right in their hands to have an outsized day. This is a team that's a little bit below the chase line coming in. They were 46 points out of the chase. They've tried desperately for years now to get Ryan his first win. I love this call by Matt Noyce to just put themselves in a different position.
Paul, I think, impacts Chase Elliott the most because Chase Elliott was going to be able to line up on the front row, whether Brandon chose the bottom or the top. Now Chase is going to have to make a choice. Do you want to line up behind Brandon or whatever, or Sieg on whatever lane he chooses, or do you go with who you think is going to have all the speed? It's going to have a big impact on his race and the decision that he makes here. I'd love to know the mindset of what the 88's thinking on this restart.
All four Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas inside the top 7. You look at Junior Motorsports, Chase Elliott up there in 3rd. Carson Quample inside the top 10. Allgaier not too far back. Joe Gibbs Racing Junior Motorsports have combined to win 9 of the last 10 on mile-and-a-halfs in the O'Reilly Series.
I'm Chase Elliott. I am hoping that 39 takes the outside and forces Brandon to the inside, because the one thing we have seen the last 2 or 3 restarts when Chase has been, there it is, has been on the outside, is he has been able to work. And that gives him an opportunity. If the 39 can just get a good launch here, once they get to turns 1 and 2, it'll put the 88 in a little bit better position.
88's been in that position when he's racing guys on tires. That's racing a guy on old tires.
I think this is tough.
It's not the launch, though, for the 30.
That's it, big time.
Yeah, and it's all going to be up to Ryan Sieg. It's what he does here, and he's going to be at the mercy of that 39. That's a tough position to put yourself in. You really don't want to. So I don't know if this was the right choice, but we'll find out.
Yeah, and if you're the 39, knowing you're on a little bit older tires, you're going to make a little faster restart. Yes. You're going to roll a little quicker because it's going to be harder to hook up the rear tires on this, and he just has to get rolling here. Hope he can get side by side with Brandon down into turns 1 and 2.
It'll be 38 laps to go when we return to the green flag. Mention the fact we're going to Atlanta next week. A couple of Georgia boys on the front row for the restart here. You'd love to win and come home with all that momentum, right, if you're Brandon Jones or Ryan Sieg. There's a Georgia driver in row 2.
I was going to say, wait a second, there's another one.
To return home with a trophy. On board here with a guy from Dawsonville. The Poet restart zone awaits for Ryan Sieg and Brandon Jones.
37 laps to go. Ryan Sieg is the control car on the restart, but he stayed on the racetrack. He'll be on older tires as the field is going to rush on past him 4 wide down into turn number 1. As Sieg just kind of stayed out of the way up in that upper line. Brandon Jones will come out with his first lead of the race down the back straightaway. A side-by-side duel for second between Taylor Gray and Chase Elliott. Jesse Love with a peek to the bottom, trying to go 3 wide, but ran out of room. And he is going to have to hold on in 4th for at least 1 corner. Chase Elliott to 2nd and ahead of steam on the front stretch. Cuts to the apron through the tri-oval. Gets to the inside of Brandon Jones for a brief moment. Now Jones cuts off Elliott down to the bottom of the track himself. Chase Elliott washes up, but Brandon Jones will cover the block on the outside of turn 2. Down the back straightaway now. Brandon Jones trying to break that draft on Elliott. Into turns 3 and 4. Elliott to the middle groove. Much better job through 3 and 4 on the bottom lane that time by Brandon Jones, wrapping it. Getting back to the gas at a good spot. Car getting wide, but not tight on him necessarily. Car's doing everything he needs it to do right now. Now the driver behind the wheel has to do the same. And we've got a spinner down the back straightaway, barely keeping it off the inside wall. That's the 18, second-year driver, William Sawalich. And we're under caution again. Our 3rd yellow in the last 20 laps or so. We're down to 35 laps remaining.
And here we are. Points as they run. He's at minus 27. And we should highlight what his teammate has done tonight. Taylor Gray, who came in just above that cut line after their problems late at Sonoma, plus 56 because of all those stage points he's gathered up tonight.
Fair enough. That's a painful process that Williams going through right here with the flat tire. Oh, this is
Two teammates as Brent Cruz in the 19 goes up the track. It's in the left rear. That extension on the nose of the Toyota Supra there. Caught his
Although,
teammate.
did William maybe have to check up a little bit? It almost looked like maybe he's getting close to the wall.
Oh, yeah.
He did.
Yeah,
Yeah, had to check up a little bit, I think, because he was getting out close to the wall. Cruz misjudged that a little bit, but inside of that, you feel like everyone's going to fire off these new tires quick.
That's great observation. He didn't.
Oh, just a little
Yes,
bit,
Donovan.
slightest contact.
So that car at its lightest.
Yeah, those are always interesting meetings
Yeah.
on Monday.
Well, I got
Just that.
they were already interesting because you had all three of those young drivers over there at JGR fight for a chase position. Basically, three guys going for two spots, and now you add a little more to this dramatic situation.
And if you're Ryan Sieg, who was employing that alternate strategy of not taking tires, this was not quite enough laps.
Yeah, you'd let none of them 10 more, maybe.
Yeah. He wanted this a little bit later.
No, but if you're a Chase Elliott fan, this is what you wanted.
Absolutely.
It lets him reset, get to restart on the front row and battle with Brandon Jones. Brandon was doing an awesome job. Got a great car here, and once he got out front, it looked to me like he was going to be extremely hard to pass.
Lion Schneider gets the free pass. He goes back to the lead lap.
Adam, you referenced the Gibbs cars. Just seems like the longer this race goes, all of them have migrated towards the front. Like we talked about the 54 at the beginning. Then as this went on, just all those guys just slowly creep into the front.
Well, what's interesting about it is they all had, their fair share of challenges tonight.
Yeah.
The three young guys hadn't seen the place before this weekend. And, Brandon Jones had tested here, and we know how good he is at the mile and a half and has the experience. But because of the way things worked out with qualifying being washed out and where they finished last week, he had to start deep in the field. So it hasn't been easy for any of them, but they've all come to play. And obviously, Sawalich now going to have a hard time getting back into it late. Fifth caution of the evening comes out when teammates tangle. Cruz, Sawalich get together. Jones, Elliott, Gray, Love, Quaffle, the top five.
Introducing the all-new Mobilizer compression socks from Copperfit, the #1 compression sock brand. Easy on, easy off compression socks with built-in arch support technology to relieve tired, achy feet. Now, with energizing Lumicore blue infrared fibers woven into compression fabric to help boost circulation.
All right, under caution here at the Chicagoland Speedway. Back-to-back yellows after just a few green flag laps between what was the fourth and fifth cautions of the night and our second and third for incident. No yellows in stages 1 or 2 tonight. All three of them so far in stage 3 of the race, and we're going to have around 30 laps to go or less on the next restart. Brandon Jones is the race leader after getting out ahead, leading his first laps of the day. Chase Elliott now chases him in second. Taylor Gray has fallen to third after leading a decent amount of laps this evening. Jesse Love is fourth. Carson Quapple rounds out the top 5 and fifth. William Sawalich in sixth. Seventh is Brent Cruz with Justin Allgaier eighth. Sam Mayer in ninth. And Corey Day rounding out the top 10. Austin Hill at 11th. Parker Retzlaff 12th, rounding out the top half dozen. Just hit the 2-hour mark on today's NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race as we kickstarted things right between 10:15 and 10:20 p.m. Eastern on 4th of July. And as you heard the broadcast booth not that long ago for Jamie McMurray and Parker Klingerman and company, we are now facing July 5th. It is no longer Independence Day.
With just over 30 laps to go. 7th and 8th prior to the choose. Justin Allgaier, Sam Mayer. That's significant because of what we saw out of them last week at Sonoma.
Has a bit of tension building between these two. As we saw it down in turn 7 at Sonoma, that's the 7th car going around. But it was what happened in the braking zone. You're going to see the 41 there. Sam Mayer clipped his rear bumper and hit him. Justin was not happy about this. Had a tough time in those two road course races. This just pushed him over the line, had a conversation with Sam after the race, let him know his displeasure, and then tonight they were racing tightly, trying to clear Sam Mayer, didn't quite get there. They were around each other a lot, and then he had some words on the radio.
Call me if you can. I am done checking with him. I will firewall both of us. I do not hear anymore. Okay. Not worry about beyond. Worry about the future.
That's wise words there from Andrew Overstreet, but a driver that feels like he's been wronged multiple times is going to want to let it be known. You have a massive points lead like Justin Allgaier has. You feel kind of invincible right now.
And they used to be teammates.
Yeah.
So let's just add another layer down to Dylan.
Brandon Jones is the race leader. His crew chief is Sam McCauley. Okay, you told me at the start of the day that you won't be in 29th for long. You were right. So now what's going to be the hardest part of holding these guys off?
I mean, the 54 and 88, they've both been really good, especially on the short run. So it's really starts with his shoes and just executing a good restart. I think from there, it's really just Brandon doing his thing. You know, this is kind of setting up like we wanted. We just got to focus on this restart first.
All right, their car has been awesome so far tonight. Just got to finish it off here over the final 30 laps.
How about the choose here? Brandon Jones goes high. Chase Elliott goes to the outside lane. Well, I mean, the 88's been getting it wound up.
Yeah.
Right? That puts Taylor Gray on the front row with his teammate.
And the outside has been the place for Chase Elliott, for sure. That's where he's been able to get to the lead multiple times. So, feels like wants to be there now, even giving up a row.
That's hard to do.
Yeah. At the front, you're taking an immense amount of risk. You know, the big risk is often where if you give up the front row, say you end up side by side, a caution comes out, well, now you've just negated yourself a whole row back by giving up the first row. You know, so if you don't get back there quick enough before the caution can pop right back out on a restart.
But it's going to be fun to watch. See him, he can get to the outside, give Brandon a little shove here on the initial start.
Well, if you're Taylor Gray, you're like, are you kidding me? I mean, I was going to have to come from row two. I mean, I know the advantage of the outside lane, but the front row's pretty good.
And Chase has been good in the outside, and maybe he doesn't feel good on the inside. There can be kind of two things going on there all at one time, but his best shot at winning this is to get to the outside of the 20 and clear him on the exit of 2, or at least be in position.
Rows 2, 3, and 4 outside lane, all Junior Motorsports. It's an all JGR.
All right, we're going to be down to 30 laps to go at the line. Brandon Jones does not get a good launch. Taylor Gray on the inside of row 1 has the lead. Cuts to the apron, as does many drivers in his rearview mirror down on the bottom lane of the restart. And Chase Elliott outside of row 2 going to go to the top of the racetrack. Not quite going to be able to slip alongside the JGR Toyotas in front of him, but he is single file just behind those two as they run side by side into turn 3. Aggressive side drafting down the back straightaway slowed both the Taylor Gray 54 and the 20 of Brandon Jones up. Gray clear for the lead on Jones, though, off turn 4 as they come back to the start-finish line. 29 laps to go. And racing down towards turn 1, Brandon Jones not over yet in this battle. Relatively equal Toyotas between the 20 and the 54 so far tonight. Who could be the best now? And Chase Elliott, who has led a fair amount of laps of his own, doing in third, trying to capitalize off of this as well. Elliott with a big run out of turn 4. He's been utilizing the apron when getting the runs off turn 4 all day to try to pull to the inside of another car. He did that last time by the start finish as well. Cuts to the inside, wraps the white line all the way through turns 1 and 2. Not quite clear down the backstretch, and they're still side by side for second. Chase Elliott was the fan vote to win today's race via you guys in the chat poll, which closed at the end of stage 2 early on. Elliott won that second stage, and here he is up to second, slamming the door shut on Brandon Jones up out of turn 4, and majorly slamming it shut back down to the inside with a block. And he'll hold the bottom lane down into turn 1 as Brandon Jones slips back to the outside. A couple of very aggressive maneuvers by Elliott. Couldn't keep him in front of Brandon Jones for long. And now they're still side by side, even as they race down the back straightaway. The longer they continue to stay door to door like this, the more likely Taylor Gray is going to be able to pull away from this battle. Elliott clear off turn 4 for the second consecutive lap. Cuts to the apron to try to break the trap for the 20 car behind him. Big block and nearly contact made at the end of the front stretch entering turn 1 as Elliott moves across the nose of Brandon Jones yet again. Slowed Jones up enough so that Jesse Love nearly got to the inside. Huge straightaway speed down the back by Jones after running the top lane of the racetrack. Slips to the inside of Elliott off turn 4 and back and forth. The 20 and the 88 go for second here in the late stage of the race. Flipping the rear tires, Jesse Love making a big save behind the battle for second. And fourth all alone, and in fact getting ran down by the fifth place car, Carson Quapple in the number 9. Who's in the top 5 for the first time since the very start of the race where he qualified in the third place position. Should say started there because qualifying was rained out. Started there in the metric system, fell back, didn't even get stage points in stage 1, 10th place in stage 2, and he's back up to 5th. Actually just ran his fastest lap of the race at lap 164 a couple restarts ago. As for the leader, Gray, he ran his fastest lap of the race just 6 laps ago on this most recent restart. That 54 is getting better as the night progresses. Already 9/10 of a second of tire fall off for our leader, Gray. Chase Elliott not able to keep pace with Brandon Jones in that 20 car, and very close in lap times is the two JGR Toyotas, both Gray and Jones at the moment. Jones was a couple hundredths faster than Gray that last lap, and he is at a 1.9 second deficit to the 54 car up ahead.
Quapple continues inside the top 5. But it's been a productive evening for Austin Hill. And that's big for Austin because he comes in 5th in points. And we were talking prior to the race tonight about the importance of where you need to be for the reset. Here's 21 making a move. Hill getting 4th.
That was a big move by Austin Hill.
But the crossover is the return from the 9. And we have to salute Carson Quapple because this would be his 7th consecutive top 10 finish. That's as good a run as he's ever been on in his career. And he's been doing it in a different car every week. The 1, the 9. Think about what he's done in the 91 when he goes over and drives for DGM to complete the full season.
But he hasn't looked like he's had a great car tonight. In general, the 9 just haven't had the speed some of those other. Well, it's not going to handle good right now with the pads, nose, packing hair on the rear. See Carson looking out that side mirror if he's going to be clear. See if he returns the favor right here. Goes in, tries to pack a little air on the 21. I think there might be a little bit of frustration between these two based on what Austin Hill did down in turns 1 and 2 the last time by. It's a pretty common theme, it feels like.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't really these two that got into each other, but I just go back to San Diego when Quapple was kind of on the wrong end of it with Taylor Gray. And it kind of opened the door for Austin Hill to go on and get the win that Carson thought he deserved, right? So
Carson complaining about the balance being loose. I'm telling you, with 19 laps to go right here, that's an eternity inside the car with the balance steering. And you can see all those cars lined up behind him. Brent Cruz, Justin Allgaier, full cluster. Cruz now goes to the inside. Just be like that 9 car is just hanging on. Brent's going to try to slide up, and he actually does clear him right there.
Cruz showing plus 43. Talk about the battle for the Chase Cut line. Couple of good young drivers going back and forth here. And as Quapple goes back by, it's at plus 42. But anything north of 40 is good for Brent Cruz. Actually went to 41 there as they race for position. Look up there, Parker Retzloff. Plus 78 with what will be 4 races to go to the chase if he can hang on to another top 10.
So impressive in such a big year for Viking Motorsport to have a car into the chase. You look at the organization, he's ahead of choking for racing. That's so impressive.
Wheeling, lights are on. Ryan Sieg. 6th time we've seen the yellow tonight.
Ooh, right front just blew out.
Here's 28.
Well,
I got a pen.
yeah, it left. Remember, he was on the alternate strategy there.
Yep.
Didn't take tires, but everyone else did. Roughly 40 to go. Was hoping to have one of those cautions. Maybe the perfect time would have been right around now, actually.
Yeah.
If he wasn't the caution, could have put a set of tires on that no one else really had. Be able to make up a ton of positions.
Well, we kind of touched on this earlier, but going, back to Echo Park Speedway in Atlanta next weekend, and that's about an hour from his hometown in Tucker, Georgia. And the first time we went there in the draft configuration, he was so close to getting a victory in 2022, and he'll be a player next Saturday night.
All right, mid-spin there.
Blown right front is from it being locked up as he's trying to catch the car. Just looks to me like he got loose. Then he's flat spotted that tire, and you could actually see the car just vibrating from how bad that was flat spotted. He drove it back to the pits fairly quick, and man, by the time he got to turn 3, it just exploded right here. Watch this. Boom. Oof. And once it comes apart, it just, you got to tear off the car. You got to tear off, being pulled away, hair exploding, debris flying everywhere. Free pass here goes to William Sawalich. He had lost a lap in that exchange when he had the spin from 6th. He scored 30th. You don't have any tires to do anything with here, but just being on the lead lap for Sawalich, when you think about the points, now he can go out, maybe pass some people and gain some of those points back that he lost, but right now showing 42 below the chase cut line.
And to that point, this will be one of the toughest restarts of the race. You have older tires here now. You're trying to get the power down. We saw that worked well for Ryan Sieg. He was able to get a good launch when he was the only car that was on older tires there. But this will definitely be one of the tougher ones of trying to hook these cars up on the restart on older tires. You don't have a lot of experience with it.
A lot of big decisions here, too. Taylor Gray got the lead from the inside, but honestly, I think the outside's been a little bit better most of the day, so he'll have to make that decision. I was going to comment just before the caution came out for Sieg. I looked down at the lap times, and Brandon Jones was coming quick, 2/10 a lap. 2 or 3 laps prior to that was really cutting into the lead of Taylor Gray. So Taylor's going to know that. Brandon's going to know what he had. I think this also brings Love and Chase Elliott back into the equation. It's all going to come down to the launch on this restart and what those guys can do. And as Parker said, restarts on sticker tires are a completely different animal than what these guys have. Once you get 15, 20 laps on your tires, just doesn't have the grip.
Well, and this restart going to come with right around 10 laps to go, Carla.
Yeah, Adam, and we talked about this earlier in the season, but it's crazy to think that we're into week 20 and still haven't seen an overtime finish in the O'Reilly Series. The last time was last October in Martinsville, where Taylor Gray got his first career win. So certainly something that Gray is possibly set up to do again. How abnormal is it, though? Well, since 2021, we've averaged 12 overtimes per season, and still a long way to go, though, for the record without an overtime. That was set in 2020 when we had a 26 stretch without extra laps added. But maybe that's a different story tonight, Tim. Yeah, and let's talk about Chase Elliott in that third position before we see the choose. He just came on the radio and said, look, guys, this is the best I've been balance-wise all night. Obviously, we don't have control of the race, but I feel confident about the car on the restart, so we'll get it. And Chase is just loving these cars in general. After practice, he told the team, I think I'm going to ask to run more races. I'm going to reach out to Mr. H and say, I want to do more of these. Loves these cars, loves how they race. And you have to think that if he got this win, that would solidify how much he's enjoying running in this series.
Well, I can tell you, watching where the 88's running under caution, I got a pretty good idea what he's thinking on this restart. And I want to say shame on Carla Metz for bringing up that overtime. We haven't had one so long. It's a sure way to jinx us into being here. Well, even later than we are.
July 5th on this time. That's what he's going to say. It's already July 5th in the East. We don't need to get there in the Central Time Zone.
The other interesting thing about what Chase Elliott's doing here is he's going up there to clean off those top lane, but then as he gets in the straightaway, he's cleaning those tires off and getting that rubber off of those tires. So he's doing two things under this caution to try and prep the track and prep his car. Dylan.
Jason Ratcliffe is the crew chief for Taylor Gray. They're the race leader. Okay, what lane do you want here on this restart?
I think we want the top. I mean, I think those guys were great giving him the bottom last time, but I feel like the 20 maybe spun him a little bit. I think especially with laps on tires, I think the top's what you want, but Taylor's done a great job all night. I think right now he's pretty motivated, so I don't think it matters which lane you give him. He's going to fight pretty hard for it.
Are you surprised at how good this car has been, or the progress you made as early in the race as you did?
Yeah, I mean, we were good in practice today, so I felt like we would be good, in the daytime. I wasn't real sure what we'd have at night. But obviously, it's good at night as well. So, again, he's done a great job all day. It's been a lot of fun to watch.
Been a great car for sure, just trying to complete the deal here for the 54 team.
Yeah, it's going to be a good finish. And I think about the last lap drama for that 54 team when we were out in California, Southern California, San Diego. Looks like he might win it. Bump and run as Austin Hill goes by and drives off to the checkered flag. Then a week later, he's going to get a top 5 at Sonoma. Really doing a great job. Runs out of fuel. Coming to the checkers, goes from 4th to outside the top 25. But they have responded tonight.
Going to be ready to go for a late race restart. We're going to have 11 laps left here at Chicagoland Speedway on this 1.5 mile racetrack. Couple of JGR Toyotas on the front row. Taylor Gray and Brandon Jones. Outside lane by far has been the controlled line for most of the night on that front row, and it's been very hard to beat the driver on the outside of row 1, and sometimes even row 2, depending on how good of a restart they get. Brandon Jones did a good job holding on for second, but he had to do it in a handful lap battle with Chase Elliott. He can't afford to have that happen again. Green flag is in the air, and again, 11 laps remain here at Chicagoland. Jesse Love to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to go 3 wide for the lead. Chase Elliott to the top. They're 4 wide for the lead into the first turn. And Jesse Love is going to come out with it at least through the middle of the corner, but can he hold on with Chase Elliott charging hard on the top? Near the wall, the Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas are fading. Brandon Jones comes away with 3rd, and the leader, Taylor Gray, in a tight battle for 4th, as Brent Cruz in the 19 is also there. Chase Elliott leads, 10 laps to go at Chicagoland. Well, Brandon Jones gets back alongside Jesse Love for 2nd on the front stretch into turns 1 and 2. Love trying to slide job, but he slid a little bit too far wide too early. Big wiggle going to cost him. Brandon Jones clear for 2nd, and now it's going to be Chase Elliott versus Brandon Jones, it appears, for the race win if it stays green. Taylor Gray is slipping backwards in a hurry as he's just got that constant heavy pressure with the 19 car to his inside still, as they've been door to door for about 2 consecutive laps since the restart. Ray on the bottom of the racetrack. Near the outside on the wall, Austin Hill. The 21 trying to battle for back-to-back top 5 runs. Apologize, that would not be factually correct because he didn't get a top 5 at Sonoma. I was thinking San Diego with the race win that he had 2 weeks ago. Last week it was the SVG show. Brandon Jones is putting a lot of pressure on Chase Elliott. This thing is far from over. Jones has had to duel with Cup regulars for race wins in this series before. Denny Hamlin at Darlington a couple years ago. And now Chase Elliott here tonight. He's hanging there with him. Trying to get as much of a draft through the tri-oval as possible. Very long front stretch at Chicagoland Speedway. Just a little bit wider line in the back half of the corner in turn 2. Really tough by the eye test to tell who was better through turns 1 and 2 between Brandon Jones and Chase Elliott. Big run for Brandon Jones this time. On the front stretch, he is going to look. Does he go high? Does he go low? He's on the back of Elliott, looking to the inside. Chase Elliott goes to the wall. Middle of the corner, as close to the wall as he can get. Really trying to get all the speed possible out of that number 88 car. And he does gap Jones just a bit through turns 1 and 2. And now we got a crash in the middle of the pack with about 5 laps to go, as Patrick Starpoli and Kyle Seager around. Our 5th yellow since we have hit the 68 lap to go mark in tonight's race.
20. Kyle C got damaged. Best run of the year came on the 1.5 miles at Las Vegas.
That's all left front.
Teammates from Alpha Prime were back there as well. LeVar Scott, Brennan Poole.
Well, I was looking out the window. The back of this pack was 3 and 4 wide for about 3 or 4, except for that restart. It looked like chaos back there, so I'm not surprised. Late in the race, we got a caution here. We see them off into turn 1. Start pulling the 48. Kalsik, he just loses it, goes up the track. Ooh, catches Brennan Poole in the 44. And a little bit for there for LeVar Scott, the 45, the Alpha Prime teammates. Yeah, that's tight racing late. 48 was squeezing him. Lost the air on the right side of his race car. And went up.
Brennan Poole had a awesome shake right there. That went on for about 10 seconds, and he finally gathered it up off the exit of turn 2.
Front row seat, Anthony Alfredo. Saw Leland Hyman your 92.
Wow. That was awesome.
Yeah, Kyle C did hit both the Alpha Prime cars in succession there. Tommy Joe Martins didn't like to see that.
He did not.
He closed his eyes.
It looked expensive.
Yep.
What's going on, Dylan?
Well, we're just making our way down pit road here, so we found Marty Lindley, who's the crew chief for the 88. That move to clean the top off and then rip it through 1 and 2 was pretty impressive.
Yeah, man. Jason's done a great job all night. He's been on the wheel. Pleasure for us to have him drive our car. The Hendrick.com Chevy's been, it's been great all night, man. Just hope we can finish it off here.
Yeah, the 20 was making a charge there. What do you guys need to do to hold him off?
Yeah, just got to dirty the air up for him and hopefully hold him off.
All right, the 88 going for their 3rd win on a 1.5 miles this year.
Yeah, it's really incredible when you think about what Junior Motorsports has done, winning 3 of the 4.5 mile races. But in particular, this 88 team, Larson getting it done at Las Vegas and Texas, and now the door is open for Chase Elliott to deliver again for Marty Lindley and the team.
Tell you what, I loved what we saw into the last caution. The fact that Chase was up there cleaning the track off. You mentioned the Parker, he's picking up the rubber there to try to make some grip. Gets to the straightaway, cleans his tires up. It wasn't the fact that he did that. It was the fact that he executed it on the restart. Watch them go down here. He commits to the very top line. They're 4 wide, getting into turn 1. He commits to that very top lane. It's like, yep, I got it prepared, and here we go. Look at the momentum he's going to have on the exit of this corner right here.
Austin Hill saw him doing it and said, that looks fun. I want to try that as well.
Yeah, I mean,
suit right by all these cars as well.
Just a tremendous execution, and Chase has been great on the restarts all night long. He's going to be in a great position here because most likely Jones will take the inside. I think Jesse Love probably will take the inside as well. But Chase now, he's going to be able to run almost wide open through turns 1 and 2, and he doesn't have to go all the way to the wall. So he's not going to have all the distance. He's going to have the clean air on the front of the nose. For him, it'll be getting out of the restart zone, getting a little bit of momentum, and he hopes they do make it 3 wide on the inside because that puts him in even a better place.
Confirming this will be our first overtime finish of 2026. And how about this? I mean, there's, a lot can happen here, and we know how good Brandon Jones has been. But I look at the position that Chase Elliott is in, and we've talked about the success of Junior Motorsports on the 1.5 miles. but they've won 12 of the first 19 overall with 5 different drivers. If Elliott could win, they would match the record they set a year ago with 6 drivers going to victory lane in a single season. Reminder of the overtime rules, 2-lap shootout. If the leader takes the white flag under green, next flag ends the race. If the caution comes out prior to the leader getting the white flag, we'll reset and do it again. We get unlimited attempts. And just so everyone knows, we got 15 minutes to get this thing in under the wire on July 4th in the Central Time Zone.
Just saw this out the window. The 96 here, Nancy Alfredo on pit road. Hood up.
Terrific.
Yeah, was having a good night for both Viking cars. Something was amiss in this race car.
I don't know what the noise ordinance is in Dawsonville, but I'm wondering if Chase wins if we get the siren tonight. He goes outside, Brandon Jones inside.
They're allowed, I'd assume.
Right.
This restart is going to be about the launch. It's about hooking up the rear tires, get them cleaned off, all the 4 tires cleaned off the best you possibly can here. Hooking up those rears and then seeing if you'll get a push from the car behind you or if they're going to try and pop to your outside or the inside for these front row of Chase Elliott, Brandon Jones. You got to play offense and defense all at the same time through the restart zone and down into turn 1.
I'm kind of nervous right now. Well, anxious about what we're going to see here.
Especially if we got another caution to push this into 12
Right.
midnight.
Yeah, we're working on it. Front row for overtime at Chicagoland. Chase Elliott.
All right, Cup regular Chase Elliott, who has led quite a few laps tonight, taking the lead on the last restart, holding on up until 5 to go when a caution came out when it was looking like it was going to be a battle between he and Brandon Jones. Now it's between him and Brandon Jones for the front row. Jesse Love going to be in row 2 on the outside of that road this time, and on the inside of row number 2 will be his teammate, Austin Hill, the 21, who's kind of sneaking up in here late. We had 4 wide into turn 1 in the last restart. What's going to happen this time as we head for overtime? 2 laps to go. Green flag is in the air. Good launch for Elliott. Not so good on the inside of row 2 for Austin Hill. And remember, running these extra laps to the finish, it might be a little bit tight on fuel to the end for some in the pack. Brandon Jones nearly clear as he washes up the racetrack. Chase Elliott holding strong on the outside. Each driver going to give each other a little bit of room to make the corner. Down the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4, Brandon Jones shoots to the inside, trying to get clear through the center. He is clear on Chase Elliott as he's going to wash wide. Elliott is going to try the crossover that he has attempted several times tonight, but he can't get a good run off turn 4. Brandon Jones leads to the white flag. 1 lap to go between Jones and Elliott. Top of the racetrack, Chase Elliott on the wall practically through turns 1 and 2. He's going to carry a lot of speed down the backstretch. Jesse Love trailing in third, also digging. Brandon Jones trying to break the draft down the back straightaway. Where does he go into turns 3 and 4? He's going to go to the middle. Chase Elliott all the way to the bottom. Elliott wiggles just a little bit. Can't stay alongside Jones. And Brandon Jones is going to hold on, and he is going to win at Chicagoland on an overtime restart. Great job done for Brandon Jones. His first win in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series 2026 season, and it comes on the 4th of July in Chicago. He's had a steady, consistent season, and now he's able to cap it off with a win. Came into the day 8th in points. Might be a little bit higher in the standings after today. It's the 3rd different Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota driver to go to victory lane in the series this season. Margin of victory just over a 1/10 of a second ahead of Chase Elliott. Elliott finishes in 2nd, Jesse Love 3rd, Brent Cruz 4th, and Austin Hill rounds out the top 5 and 6 with Justin Allgaier in 6th. 7th place, 7th place Taylor Gray, Sam Mayer 8th, Cole Custer 9th, Connor Zilich round out the top 10, all the Cup regulars in the top 10 tonight. Carson Kvapil in 11th. Good run for Nick Sanchez in 12th. Sammy Smith 13th. Parker Retzlaff 14th. And Harrison Burton 15th. 16th for Sheldon Creed. Dean Thompson in 17th. Garrett Smithley 18th. Corey Day 19th. And Jeff Burton 20th. Leland Honeyman 21st, Ryan Ellis 22nd, Mike Snyder 23rd, Raja Crew 24th, and Brendan Poole 25th. 26th for Anthony Alfredo, Patrick Starpoli 27th, LeVar Scott 28th, William Sawatch 29th, and Kyle Segan 30th. And he was the last car to finish on the lead lap, so 30 cars on the lead lap tonight. Ryan Sieg finishes 31st, Blaine Perkins 32nd, Tyler Tomasi 33rd, Joey Gase 34th, Jeremy Clements 35th, 36th for Josh Bilicki. J.J. Yaley, Dawson Cram, the only two drivers of DNF tonight, finishing 37th and 38th. 7 cautions, 16 lead changes, 40 caution laps, overtime, our first overtime finish of the O'Reilly season, and 2 hours, 33 minutes, and 8 seconds to get through tonight's race. And all 7 cautions that we had so far tonight, or did have tonight, 5 of them were for incident, all 5 in stage 3. A tale of 2 different races here this evening, but it's Brandon Jones getting the last lap in the victory. At Chicagoland Speedway, he led for just 12 laps in today's race, besting Elliott, who won stage 2, leading 78 laps. Connor Zilic led for 48, winning stage 1. Taylor Gray was fast all night. He led for 55 laps, but Brandon Jones, again, the race winner. On the 4th of July.
His first win of 2026. He has been talking about this race for the last few weeks, liking it to Kansas where he's had success. Brandon, wow, you muscled through that last restart, held off Chase Elliott. How did you do it?
I had to earn that one. Haven't had an exciting one like that in a long time. Thank you guys for sticking this out through the rain and everything. MD Building Supply, Menards. I'm so glad to get them back in victory lane. It's been an up and down year. We've had some success early on. We've been in a little bit of rut the last couple of weeks. So it's just nice to do it like we did today. I mean, we had to earn that one.
What does it mean not only to win at Chicagoland, coming back here for the first time in 7 years, but also to hold up a Cup Series champion to do it?
I think it says a lot about just how resilient we are and how hard we're working at this. Chase made it really difficult on me. He's one of the best in the sport, right? And so I knew he was going to be difficult. We were all on old tires. That was a blast to slide around and duel it out like that. I knew we had probably made some adjustments at the end there. It was, you can tell people were starting to get a little bit tighter tonight with the temperature falling down and where the track was migrating. So awesome racetrack. You guys know I love these style of tracks. They fit me so well. So let's go on a roll and let's get a couple more here before the chase starts.
Congrats and enjoy it.
Thank you.
Brandon Jones, a winner here at Chicagoland on July 4th. Dylan.
Congrats to Jones, winner of tonight's race. A late night after having to wait about 4.5 hours on the rain delay from the start of this one. Hopefully tomorrow goes on without a hitch. We will be live for the NASCAR Cup Series race beginning at about 5:45 p.m. Eastern with our pre-race show. Race drop the green flag start time at about 6:20 Eastern tomorrow night. Hopefully to see you then. Have a good rest of your, well, I guess now July 5th, late July 4th night, everybody. Have a good one. And again, catch you tomorrow.